If I'm being honest, bro, I don't think anybody in this generation could have played like 20 years ago. If I'm being 100, and this is to everybody in our league, Tatum, all y'all. Let me tell y'all something, bro. 20 years ago, bro, you couldn't get to a triple step back.
Nah.
You hear what I'm saying to you? You couldn't get to a triple step back, and then if you shot that shit, it had to go in. You know why? Because we had efficiency back in the day, my dude, and it was so fucking hard. It was too physical. And guess what? The league had to come off of it for the flow of movement to be able to have scoring go up, which is why we like to sit here and watch kind of the rat race of the high-paced game, right? But, bro, let's not talk about the gamemanship, and let's not talk about the physicality of the game back then. Real shit, because I only think half these kids in the league could have been on an NBA team 20 years ago.
Straight up.
The locker room was too grown.
Peace and blessings, y'all. Welcome to the GOAT James Kingdom Show with B. Lee and Ajani. Y'all know we go live every Sunday noon to talk the GOAT conversation and to talk basketball. Shout out to everybody who is subscribed to the channel. This is the GOAT James Kingdom channel. We are also going live on our IG account. So shout out to everybody on our Instagram account. Shout out to everybody that's also subscribed and following us on Facebook in our Facebook group. We're also live there. We're also going live with the FYF channel as well. So shout out to Lamont and everybody else. Y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, become a member of the channel. As y'all know, we do big things here in the GOAT James Kingdom platform. Today's show, we're not going to have Brandon. Shout out to Brandon. He's enjoying himself. We got the normal panelists as well. Shout out to Travis, who's also in the building. What up, Travis? Thank you for joining us. We got Craig King in the building. Shout out to Craig King. Big Dog in the house. We also got King John in the building. Shout out to you.
Can I hear it, Johnny?
I can hear you, Johnny.
I dead thought my computer went mute, and I'm up here looking for the volume.
Oh yeah,
I'm looking. Johnny, we cannot hear you.
I literally thought I muted my laptop.
I thought my speakers died. No, I was glad it wasn't on my end.
Hey, Craig, you gotta take over the show.
Yeah, come on, Craig, lead us to glory.
Oh yeah, I don't want you to leave this show. There won't be no James Kingdom no more.
No.
Y'all really be having LeBron hate y'all.
Zesty Ramones.
But that's crazy from what KG said though. And all, I know we're gonna get into it. Is he back?
Yes, I am back. Y'all can hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry
I
for the
tell him, I literally thought I muted my laptop when you were speaking. I'm up here looking, fidgeting, trying to.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I guess we missed the part. We'll get right into it anyways. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the conversation will be about what Ant-Man said. So we're going to start off with Craig King's new segment. All right, we're going to have some fun here, ladies and gentlemen, because we're going to talk about what Ant-Man said and KG's response to what Ant-Man said. So let's go ahead and let's get off and let's start off the show. All right, because if you come out with a poor take, you're going to get the checks and balances with Craig King. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is Craig King's Checks and Balance.
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around. With your broke ass.
Sir, now that you've got your check, do you plan on quitting your job driving this truck?
Truck driver? I ain't no truck driver. That's right, baby. I just bought this truck straight cash. I'm rich, biatch.
What's up? What's up? So yeah, I'm just gonna basically address. It shouldn't only be me. It should be like the LeBron fans as well. For someone to say they haven't seen something and then comment, ain't that's what y'all say that what these Zesty Jeffries do? Said they never seen Jordan play, but say he did everything. Where's the outrage when he says it? And when he says, I didn't see it, I didn't watch it, I wasn't really watch basketball, but then you say they wasn't skilled. So how did you not watch basketball and say that there wasn't no skill? Or Michael Jordan was the only skilled person? See, that's a knock. See, he haven't watched basketball, but the only person he know is Michael Jordan. But yeah, that was a horrible take from an NBA player, and I'm just mad that no one from the LeBron side didn't say anything. Now, if he would have said something about this one, about where he's playing now, talking about these players are trash, then y'all would have had a whole lot to say. So this is where I'm coming from. So it should be an equal thing, no matter if there is a player today saying a bad take or is a player back then saying a bad take. It should be addressed equally. I'm here for the equalness on it. So yeah, that was my whole thing about that. We're gonna get more into it later, so I don't want to put all of my spills back. But yeah, that's my take on it.
All right. So, okay, Craig. So basically for you, Ant's argument is similar to how all the LeBron fans talk about that era, right? Because basically
his argument is the same thing that the argument that you say these Zesty Jeffries, they haven't watched basketball, but they claim they know so much and have to say it. He literally said before he made this statement, he made a contradictory statement. I hadn't watched the basketball, I don't watch basketball, but the players wasn't skilled. So you had to see something to say that. So which part of his statement is true? Not watching it or the players skilled?
Okay, because he doesn't watch the games like the most of us, and he's over here talking about it as if he watches it. I got you. I see what you're saying there. I hear what you're saying. Okay. So that makes sense. That makes sense. Shout out to you, Craig. So that is a poor take, and obviously we all know that it's a big argument. It is a big deal. Oh, let's start with you, Travis. What do you think about Anthony Edwards' words and then how KG responded in defense to what he said?
Obviously, I agree with Craig completely. It's a ridiculous take, one born out of total ignorance. He would have been better suited. I could have overlooked it if he would have been like, hey, you know what? I'm only like 21 or whatever he is. And, I'm not really a student of the game. I'm just trying to kind of forge my own path. And I'm, focused on which is fine. Just say you don't know, the legend that came before. I'm not going to say that an NBA player doesn't know basketball. But when you say, I don't know anything about the game, and you admit that, and then you say nobody had skill, that's just preposterous. You just either spur of the moment, heat of the moment, and that's completely not true. I could go more in depth about it, but KG's response, though, was equally stupid. Because when he says that nobody could play back then, what? Ridiculous. The talent translates to any era. We all know this as actual objective basketball fans.
I always said the rules dictate your skill level. Dictate what you
would there be an adjustment period? Sure, but everyone could play in every area, with the same equipment, with the same rules, with the same advantages. There's no reason they couldn't. Just dumb take on both sides.
I was 6 feet in 2024 and be 6 feet in 2003.
All right, John. So what's your take on this whole thing? Again, it's the never-ending wars between the NBA eras. Now we have KG and Ant-Man going at it. What do you think about it?
To continue on what Travis said, he said he was grown when he came into the NBA. But he was 18. He was basically the start of this generation. He's the explanation for this generation. Drafted out of high school, and you saw he was a good player. So NBA team said, give him 3 to 4 years and look what they can be. He was 18, gave him 3-4 years. He a former defensive player of the year and a former MVP. But my thing about his take, I didn't mind his take. And I didn't mind his take for the same reason they disrespect this era. Sometimes you need to fight back and disrespect another era. We watch on TNT inside the NBA, them sleep through all the games. And then turn around and talk mess about them because they got pre-written information about the game. Now, they say all this about this generation, and then everybody want to get outraged when somebody in this generation responds. I didn't mind what he said because that generation he was talking about, the only person they ever talk about is who? Michael Jordan. He's the only player. He is this, he is that, he is this. They don't talk about nobody else in that generation but Michael Jordan. So all he hears is Michael Jordan. So the next person he hear about is who? Kobe Bryant. So who was his next person he talked about? Kobe Bryant. So when a generation talks about one player and then the next player they talk about is Kobe, what is he supposed to say? And then I felt KG was wrong for, won't you go to Ant-Man? Won't you talk to him? Won't you explain? Won't you be that OG to him? Instead of trying to bust him out on social media so the world can hear it. That was my take on it.
Well, you know what? I kind of felt he did, right? He has a right to speak his mind, right? Because like you said, he is that guy. He is that young dude. He came in as a high school guy, a phenom, right? Kind of came in to try to change the game for the NBA. But at the end of the day, he was really kind of making some good points because like you said, this is a beef that we need to talk about because of all the stuff that we hear about the 90s and the 1900s, right? If we always hear Michael Jordan was so dominant, why are you mad somebody said, hey, nobody else had skills but Michael Jordan?
I mean, that was my point.
You see what I'm saying? So you get mad at that, but KG kind of went at it on a different level as well, which is why I kind of understand what he said because he actually said this. He actually went on and said this.
Yeah, man.
Just the hand check.
No, bro. It was a different vibration. David Stern did a great job of taking all of the physicality out of the game. You understand? Freedom of movement means freedom of movement. Man, back in the day when you had to get by Paul because Paul was squared up with you and ready to slide, and then he could body you, he could poke, he could use his hands, but I can use my hands.
I could fight through a screen.
Bro, the shit that we saw in the Olympics was similar style play when the guard could ride you damn near over the pick.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to get out of that, and a nigga like Holiday, when he come out and he get over, he there. Right. So if you go to cross him, bro, you don't even, that's what I'm saying, bro.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, brother.
Okay. I played basketball, and I actually played the point guard position. Hand checking didn't slow nobody down, bro. It didn't. I want you guys to know that. It didn't slow you down. Actually, if you was physical, hand checking actually helped your game. Because all they're going to do is bounce off you, and they can call a foul at that point. And if you learn how to be physical, that's all it took. I don't like. When did the hand checking go away? 2003, 2004.
2004 is when they put the rule back. Cause it's always been a rule. That doesn't understand. Hand checking has always been a rule. They just used to lax on it, and they kind of cracked down on it. 2004, and that was it.
So he benefited from the rule that he going against, right? He won a championship in 2008.
Well, that's not talking about Kobe's era, and even Paul Pierce said the same thing. They're not talking about Kobe's era. They're talking about Mike's era. They're talking about the guys that
he wasn't talking about them.
And not only was my thing though, the lowest scoring era was the 2000s. So how is the 90s less skill if they was scoring more than the 2000s?
Well, the lowest scoring era is the 90s, correct?
That's my whole thing.
If
that era was
that's because supposedly the physicality and the efficiency
and a lockout season at that. So they didn't even have a full decade of an 82 game season, and they still outscored the 2000s. But yet the 90s is always considered the weakest era because of talent. So that talent was able to score more points than the talent in the 2000s?
Well, I think Josh Williams, hand checking only matters if you're not a scorer. If you're a scorer, hand checking doesn't bother you.
Hand checking
Well-
only matters to somebody who can't dribble. If you once
Yeah.
you know how to dribble, hand checking is not going to be it's not going to be a problem no
If you're
more.
going downhill, how can you
If
hand
a
check?
team-oriented defense is decent thing, you can't do that on one. Ain't that hand checking? They just gonna blow right by you.
Yeah.
Exactly. But still, though, I believe Ant was talking about the shooting guards in
Yeah,
Jordan's
and that's-
era.
he was
I don't
talking-
think he was talking about overall there was no skill in the league. He was saying the only skilled shooting guard was Michael Jordan. I don't think he was talking about in general in the league as well. Now, I did not hear his comment. I only read it. So I don't know, John.
He
You
didn't say nothing
heard?
about shooting. He
I
said
heard- I
guard.
mean,
He said
if
players.
you go to basis
He said
on what he was
players.
talking about, he was
All
talking
five
about the shooting
positions.
Yeah, he
talking
said.
about
I
the
mean,
shooting guard position
he was
'cause-
talking in general though. Like he didn't specifically say shooting guards.
No, I know that. But he also didn't talk about the 2000s and Kobe's era. He was, and I can see why Kevin Garnett kind of took offense to it because Kevin Garnett came into the 90s, right? Kevin Garnett played 4 seasons in the 90s, and he was the young buck that had to deal with the grown man league. It was a grown man league. That's what he was saying. It was a grown man's league. You had to earn your stripes.
Well,
the
that's
thing is
because they
also-
was coming in the league 2 or 3 years in college, so they wasn't coming in first year
Well,
high
yeah.
school. Now
The thing is-
everybody's one and done. So
the
they
thing
coming
is
in at
also it's just
19.
like
The
there was two
oldest
things.
player is probably like 26.
Who's the starter on all this? Who's the starter?
Well, we don't know. Go ahead, Travis. You just gonna say something? Well,
I was just gonna say very quickly, like there was two. Like you never. It's very rare that you actually get like a balanced take, like where it's like it's all the extreme of like this or that. Like you don't get like. So what Ant-Man said was extreme. If he was literally saying that, and also what KG said about no one being able to play, is that you never get like. I agree with John where he could have actually just maybe hooked up with Ant-Man and later on and be like, hey man, like that was maybe a take I felt a certain way about. Here's what actually happened. Like, no, you had guys, like you talk about skill, you had guys like Eddie Jones, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, Tim Hardaway, Rod Strickland, all these guys. What I will say is that obviously today's rosters are more filled out 1 to 12. Like as far as like guys who can shoot, guys who have, more in their bag. But again, the 90s and like maybe 2000s a little bit top heavy, relatively speaking, to today's era. But you still had guys like Mitch Richmond, like Magic played, Jordan obviously, Pippen, Harper, all these guys. Like there's all these skilled guys. That's just like the guard position or whatever forwards. But to say if he actually meant nobody has skill, like Grant Hill, like that's just a bogus take. Like obviously the only real difference is that. Like again, that league was maybe a lot topic. We had like a lot more role players, I would say, in the '90s, filling out rosters, especially because of the actual drafts for the expansion teams. But then when you started getting to the 2000s, yeah, it was lower scoring, but you had an influx of better scorers across the board and deeper rosters. That's when it actually started. And then obviously we have what we are today, where there's a lot more parity that we see. There's far fewer 20 or fewer win teams. There's a lot fewer 60-win teams. All that speaks to the level of balance that we've kind of achieved over the last 10 years.
That's because back in the day, you got into the league being either a great defensive player or a great offensive player. Now you got to be a great offensive player, not so much a great defensive player. So everybody's offensively driven. So that's why you see the talent, because you're seeing all the talent on the offensive side, where back in the day, you see talent on the offense and the defensive side. You can't even name like top 5 defenders.
well, I mean, back then, everybody.
Rodman, he averaged what, 5 points for his career?
Yeah, because he had a specialty back then.
That's
Everybody had a specialty. That's what I'm saying.
On offense.
You had that exactly.
Jordan was great because he was on both. But
even if you were good on defense or on offense, you were kind of good in just one particular aspect of offense or on defense.
Yeah, now
really
everybody's good on offense and offensive only. So that's why you're seeing the talent. That's why
Mm-hmm.
everybody's saying the talent, because everybody's talent is offensive, where everybody back in the day was offense and defense. Some people was either. Well, a lot of people was either or, but there was few who had both.
Okay, but you know what? But that brings up a good point then. What does define skill? Right? Because when Gilbert Arenas was talking about it, when he was trying to explain it where Jordan's a Bugatti and everybody else is a Honda Civic, right? He was talking more or less athleticism. Is athleticism considered a skill? Let's start with you, John. Is that considered a skill, your athleticism?
No, but I can understand why somebody could try to explain that, especially if you know if you know what to do with the athleticism. Because if you're born with athleticism, it's a gift that you was given born with. But I can understand the explanation of athleticism being a skill, but in general, it's not.
All right. And what about you, Travis? Is your athleticism considered a skill?
No, definitely not, because that has nothing to do with actual. Like, you could jump out of the gym and still shoot like 15% from three. Like, you're not going to be 71 Kareem, who was arguably one of the more athletic centers of all time, and he's not going to be able to be a 3-level scorer. Like, its skill is, how often you perfect your game. Like, I mean, how can you, like, your form, your shooting form, your passing instincts, your rebounding prowess, boxing out. Your form on your inside game, your footwork, all those things go into however you're able. The real skill is how you're able to actually increase those things. How is your IQ for the game? Being able to, like, Dominique Wilkins wasn't going to be a 3-level scorer, and he was very skilled, but he also was like super athletic, but he wasn't the most skilled player in the game by any measure. Like, athleticism is nice, and it probably allows you to do more things, especially offensively and defensively. Like, if you're able to be that kind of an overall player, but just being fast and tall and able to jump high alone doesn't accomplish anything.
Okay. What about you, Craig? What do you think? Is that a skill?
I think everything is a skill, because if it wasn't, then everybody could do everything. So, not everybody can jump off the gym. Not everybody can jump out the gym, spin move. It's common. It's everything is a skill. If you either can do it or you can't. Like,
yeah, I agree. Not everybody could. I mean, there's guys who can jump, but not everybody who can jump can do a 360 dunk, right?
Yeah, like I'm saying,
and everybody. There's a lot of guys.
You know what to do with it.
That's
why.
About the
like
defensive plays being slow. You can't name me a defensive player of the year back in the '90s that you couldn't play in the playoffs game in crucial time because there was a liability on defense.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, but I agree with you, with you, Craig. Right? As a perfect example, Usain Bolt's the fastest man in the world, right? But give him a basketball, can he run with a basketball and still be fast? Right? So he could be fast. He could have the athleticism to be fast, but if he can't dribble a basketball, what does it matter, right? Or if he can't even catch the ball, what does it matter? So the skill and the athleticism, I do believe it's a combination. And Jim Brown, yes, that's what Gilbert Arenas said. Jordan is a Bugatti, and the rest of the league was basically Honda Accords. That's what he was saying. Shout out to you, twin man. Appreciate you, brother. You know what I'm saying? So in all though, I would like to think that what Anthony Edwards was talking about wasn't about the whole entire era. I don't think he thinks the whole era didn't have skills. I don't think that's what he thought. I think he just basically said, listen, Jordan's not going up against nobody. That's what he's basically saying. And if we look at who Michael Jordan is going up against, right? If you look at the left, those are the top scoring shooting guards of the 80s. So we have George Gervin, World B. Free, Rolando Blackman, right? Moncrief, Walter Davis, then Jordan. I don't even know who that Griffith guy is. So that shows y'all that how much I didn't watch the 80s. And I believe that's Mike Woodson at the bottom at number 9. I never heard of that dude Long as well. These are obscure players. Hey, you guys didn't heard any one of these players from the in the bottom? I don't think that's John Paxson. I think that's Jim Paxson.
Okay, I thought I didn't even look at the picture when I see Jay Paxson. I thought it was John Paxson, but
was Alex English a shooting guard? I thought he was a point guard.
I think they got him listed as a small forward. Now again, this is from StatMuse, so they could get it wrong, right?
That's all I had to say.
Right. but it is about obviously the skill level and scoring, right? And if we look in the middle, it's the 90s, right? Those are the best shooting guards of the 90s as far as points scored, and these are the guys, the amount of points they scored. All right. So we got Mike, we got Mitch Richmond, right? You mentioned Mitch Richmond, Travis. We also got Reggie Miller, Clyde Drexler, Jeff Hornacek, Joe Dumars, Hersey Hawkins, Dale Curry, Nick Anderson, John Starks. right?
Well,
And then,
The top 5 players didn't play with a dominant center. Well, you could say that all the way up to Joe Dumas.
Yeah, also,
okay,
though,
so that's Daryl Griffith. Thank you so much there,
Yeah.
Casual. I appreciate you. Shout out to Casual Vibes. Y'all make sure to go subscribe to his channel at Casual Vibes, and also Vanity Sports. They do great content. They're the gentleman that did the interview for the GOAT James Kingdom platform. Shout out to you, Casual. Thank you for that. I'm gonna actually go look him up. Daryl Griffith, right? Okay, but then we got the guys to the right. These are all the guys that put up the most points so far in the 2020s. So since 2020, we have Devin Booker, we have Donovan Mitchell, we have SGA, which I don't know if he's really a shooting guard or a point guard, but they got him here. We know Harden's a combo guard as well. Then we got Zach LaVine. There go Anthony Edwards, CJ McCullough, Bradley Beal, Buddy Hield, and RJ Barrett was a surprise to me. Shout out to RJ Barrett. I didn't know he was playing that well throughout his career. So out of all these players that we're looking at here, ladies and gentlemen, are we wrong to say that the right side is just more skilled than the center and the left side? Am I wrong? Let's start with you, Travis.
Well, I mean, yes and no. I mean, so a lot of these players here that you're talking about, like in the middle section, let's take in the 90s here, like only 3 or 4 of these players actually played from 90 or before onwards. Like you had Mike, Reggie Miller, I think, Joe Dumars. And, like, they didn't play throughout the 90s either. Like, the only player I can think of really that played at least the 10 years of the 90s, or at least 90 through what it was Michael Jordan, if I'm not mistaken on here. I mean, all these guys are great. But I'm not going to also say that the 90s was the most skilled as far as the guard position. That's just wrong. I mean, you had, like, Mitch Richmond. I think he was a bucket getter. Very skilled. Miller was skilled in his own way. Clyde Drexler, I think, is a top 5 shooting guard of all time. Especially statistically, Joe Dumars. But I mean, no, for sure, the most skilled, and I say that as far as just being all around players, like ball handling, being able to score from all 3 levels, has to be this or the 2020s or 2000, mid 2010s on, because you just have the names there and they've proven it. But I mean, especially if you line up a lot of these guys as numbers, especially if you do like, per 48 or whatever you do, like, and efficiency, shots taken, they're going to line up. I'm not saying that Reggie Miller is going to beat Devin Booker one-on-one, but I mean, it's like your skill level depends on what you're able to do well. I think Booker, maybe handling the ball goes to them, but it's just tough to discount the 9 when you have such different, playing things, especially for going off a 4-year sample size in the 20s.
All right. So what about you, John? What do you think about this? Is the 2020s players overall more skilled than the other 2 eras, which are the 1990s shooting guards and the 1980s shooting guards?
The simple answer is yes. And I mean, no disrespect to no other. The simple answer is just yes. But I mean, that's no disrespect to the other era, because these players in the 2020s got to see the 80s and 90s. And they learning from what the other guys did and what they did wrong and what they could have did to expand their game. And just think about if Reggie Miller would do some of the things Devin Booker would do. How much his game could have really expanded, and what type of player he really could be if he can create off the dribble. So, I mean, the players today got to see them and got to learn more. So, yes, the players from the 2020 is more talented, and one of the reasons they're more talented because they got to see the generation before and learn from it.
Okay. I hear you there. I agree too. I think they're more skilled as well. What about you, Craig? What do you think? Are these guys way more skilled than the guys that were in Jordan's era in the 90s and the 80s?
Well, like he said, the players got to watch, and also the referees got to watch, because a lot of things change where now you get more leeway to showcase those skills. Remember, the commissioner literally said, I wanted to increase scoring to showcase the offensive skill players that we have. And that's what's happening. So if you give any basketball player the chance to do what they do based on the rule set, they will adjust. But yeah, this era is more skilled than the 90s and 80s. But if you look at it, Jordan only played 7 seasons and got 18,000 points. Mm-hmm. So Booker is this is going to be. He got 3 more seasons to get 10,000 points. Come on now, you like that? That just poof in the putter right there, man.
Nah, but Booker is a baller, boy. Booker is a baller for sure. George.
points in 7 seasons.
Yeah, hey, George. I don't know if you mean Dale Ellis, but I don't know who Dale Harris is. If you're looking for Dale Ellis, they're not in the top 10. This is the 80s right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Wasn't he a power forward?
Dale Ellis was a shooting guard. Dale Ellis. I don't know about Dale Harris. I don't know who Dale Harris is.
Ellis played for Denver, right?
Moncrief is right here. Moncrief is right here. Moncrief is right here, George. You can see these are the top scoring shooting guards of the 80s. So the question is, all right, we all know George Gervin was skilled, right? I mean, that is not even we're not even going to argue that, right?
Look at the games played.
Yeah.
Look at the games played. Like, what are we talking about? Why you ain't got the games played on the 2020s? Why you only got it on the 80s?
No, it's up there. We're gonna get to the 20. Come on now, Craig. Don't take shots at me. Craig, don't take shots at me. Don't take shots at me. But I'm just saying. These are again. This is from StatMuse, right? I didn't. StatMuse usually is the best place to go to find this information, ladies and gentlemen. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. He said, here you go, George, when I put up the link, you're going to explain how they don't play defense, because when I start showing y'all some footage of these players playing, you're going to tell me that's defense? Because we could talk about it, right? Let's start with George Gervin. Y'all all agree George Gervin is the man. Iceman, got the skills. Finger roll, cabal, he can do all kind of stuff. Left, right, very talented. World Be Free. Y'all, I'm not going to lie. I learned of World Be Free playing 2K. I swear for the Lord.
I had his jersey back in the throwback era. I had his World Be Free jersey from Cleveland.
Listen, I didn't believe that his name was actually World Be Free.
Yeah, it says free right on the back.
I know. But again, he was obviously a great player, and he was a baller in the 80s. Then we have Rolando Blackman. We all know Rolando Blackman is infamous for the 80s, right? And then we have Sidney Moncrief, Walter Davis, Michael Jordan. So that's Darrell Griffith. Then we have not John Paxson, but Jim Paxson, ladies and gentlemen. That is Jim Paxson. And then we have Mike Woodson, if I'm correct, and somebody named Jay Long. If y'all can find out who Jay Long is, please let me know, because they don't even got their pictures here. That's how old these guys are. They don't even have a little digital picture or avatar for them. But, right, I did find some footage, because like I said, we all know who Rolando Blackman is, right? So let's look up some footage of Rolando Blackman to see how skilled Rolando Blackman was.
Show this one game against Jordan.
Craig is the best, yo. Craig is the best. Shout out to Craig King. Like he said, checks and balances, baby.
Rolando Blackman at up court to Harper. Derek Harper to the front court for the Mavericks. Harper dumps to Blackman, foul line. He fires good. 2-2 tie. Down the lane. Here is Harper leaning over the dribble out front, guarded by Paxson. Left corner shot, Blackman. Yep. Blackman with the ball, head of the key, pressured by Jordan. Blackman fakes on Jordan, right of the lane, fadeaway shot, good from 18 feet. Rolando Blackman has 6. No. Rebound, Oakley. Outlets the ball to Jordan. Michael Jordan on the drive into the front court. Takes Harper in deep. Reload jumper, partially blocked. Rebound, Corzine. Dallas up 13 with the ball, and out front is Brad Davis. Right side, Blackman, guarded by Jordan. Blackman into the lane, fakes. 8-footer on the way. He hit it. Banks looks to bring it into Jordan. Michael wheels in low left, shoots the shot, blocked inside by Tarpley. Here they come on the drive. Blackman in on Sellers. Flips the shot up and in.
Oh my God, Craig, how did you know we were going to bring up?
Jordan get the ball, like 8-5 people against him.
I had that posted on my page, so I knew which one you was going to play.
Of course you do.
Year 2 Jordan? Wait,
that was fake defensive player of the year, Jordan. That's what that was. That was 1988. That was 1988.
Wow.
That was 1988.
You probably had 10 steals that game.
And shout out to Anthony Davis, a longtime GOAT James Kingdom member. You can't tell me that man's name is John Long.
Now, how much Jordan had that game?
Huh?
How much Jordan had that game?
Hey,
I don't know.
Anthony Davis is my guy, but he has had some
Since I like numbers so much, how much Jordan had that game?
Yes, again.
But no, see, look at Craig is up. I'm saying Craig is the perfect MJ delegate, because the whole highlight was supposed to be about Rolando Blackman, and he made it about Michael Jordan.
Because every highlight had Michael Jordan guarding him. What the fuck?
It was a highlight versus the Bulls. There's not too many highlights
of
the 80s. Listen, y'all know it's not that too many highlights from the 80s, man. Like my boy Mike Peake would say, that's from the beer and butter Newport 100 special era. You know what I'm saying? But we saw how Rolando Blackman was saying. Do we need to play it again? Can you tell me, Travis, was that skilled enough? What kind of skills can you describe Rolando Blackman of having compared to today?
No, I mean he was quick to get to his spots. He looked like he had a great pull-up jumper. I mean, he finished in transition a couple times. I mean, obviously we don't know about his 3-ball, but the players play, especially like guards, like the best scoring guards. You see Booker do it a lot. They're great at getting to their spots. They know where to go, and they have a great pull-up jumper. I mean, they have a quick release. They're accurate. I mean, it's no different from any area you want to look at. I mean, obviously the form perfecting things like that, but that's what he was doing there. I mean, was it as aesthetically pleasing as some other play? Maybe not, but the results are there, and like he had good touch around the rim. All the best scorers do.
Facts. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking the KG versus Ant-Man story. It's the never-ending NBA era wars. We're trying to define player skills. We're looking at the 80 shooting guards. Because I believe Anthony Edwards was talking about shooting guards when he was talking about the guys that Jordan was going against and their skills. I don't believe he was talking about the NBA in general. I think Ant-Man does respect the league. I think he was just defending himself from the Zesty Jeffries, because they keep pulling him in and out of the Jordan family, and it's not fair to him. He just won a gold medal, and they still hating on the young man. Oh, Craig, you're on mute, Craig. Craig, you're on mute.
Y'all want to believe the reason why Jordan won anything is because instead of Utah having a dominant guard, they had a dominant power forward, and that's the reason they lost, because they didn't have a dominant guard like Jordan. They had a dominant power forward.
I'm gonna tell you the reason.
Trying to tell me?
I'm gonna tell you the reason.
Because any other time it's a team sport, but now it's because the person who has the same position as him is not as good as him. Is like, I'm confused. Like,
well, remember I said that the problem is, right? The problem is
1 minute basketball is a team sport, but the next minute it's because who's labeled a shooting guard on the opposing team when he's playing. That's what it sounds like to me.
No, but again, we're talking about Anthony Edwards' words. He hasn't really defended himself as of yet, right? So he
didn't say shooting guard. He said skills. He said the only skilled player in the 90s was Michael Jordan. There was centers in the 90s. There was power forwards in the 90s. There was small forwards in the 90s. There wasn't only shooting guards in the 90s.
And then he said the next skilled player to come into the league was Kobe Bryant.
Well, then he talked about the big.
So he's talking about shooting guards. He's not talking about Hakeem Olajuwon. He's not talking about Magic Johnson. He's not talking about Larry Bird. He's not talking about Karl Malone. He's talking about guys. He's talking about guys.
He doesn't know about them.
Wait. He's talking about guys like Walter Davis, who Michael Jordan actually wanted to get traded to the Chicago Bulls in the late 80s, but Jerry Krause never made the move because he knew better, because he had a plan. Jordan's plan wasn't going to work. We know Jordan don't know how to make a team. So we're going to sit here and look at Walter Davis, who was one of the best players in the 80s.
He looks. Out it comes to Davis. Davis against Ellis. Davis, the three-pointer. Good! The game is tied! A beautiful straightaway shot by Davis.
Westfall or for Walter Davis breaking into the lane. Here is Adams. Time running out. Davis to the jump shot. Tied at 4 seconds. 10. Now he starts. Here's Davis out at 8. Davis going one-on-one now. High arch again. 8 seconds left on the game clock. Now the net. Nat averaging 20 points a game. Boozy towards it, tried to stop him. Quick release. Boozy heads up play. That's 2 great passes on that fast break. 8 points for the second year. And from North Carolina, and here he comes again. Walter Davis is a one-man show.
12 points in the first quarter. He hadn't missed yet. Here's Adams bringing the ball to Davis. Down the middle of the free throw line, in the air, 15-foot jumper. Nice shot. Oh.
All right, so Walter Davis obviously he's clutch. That boy was hit.
The first 4 shots was
obviously Walter Davis was clutch.
You're proving Ant-Man wrong right now, Johnny. You're exposing him.
I'm exposing who am I exposing? Who am I exposing? Ant-Man?
Ant-Man.
Okay, so tell me, what did you see there with your eye test? Because we know this is all about the eye test with the Zesty Jeffries, and we know that's the argument majority of the time. What did you see there when you saw the footage of Mr. Walter Davis? And first off, shout out to Back Rim Basketball. Subscribe to their channels. I got some of these highlights from their channel. They got some actually great highlights of a lot of players that are obscure that we're going to look up some more film of. But go ahead, Travis. What do you think of Walter Davis's skills?
No, it's really the same thing as like we were looking at Blackman. Like you have every great scorer has certain fundamentals. Like you're able to get your spots. You have good form in your shooting. You have an instinct of where the defense is coming from. You have good body control through contact. We saw a lot of that. Obviously, he had range. No, that's just a hallmark of any great perimeter scorer. Like we see that today. We've seen it in virtually any single era. Are there more today? Sure, but guys like that, they could, they have the skill set to practice their craft in any era, and like that's what you see. Like he had a good jumper, people were in his face, he was still hitting buckets, he was clutch, like you said. You see that across the board. It's really not different. The only thing is the amount of people who are doing it just due to number of teams, scouting, what they look for nowadays. Like it's wildly different than it was 20-30 years ago.
Look at Travis taking shots. Go ahead, John.
I want to say this. I think Ant-Man can learn a lot from Walter Davis, but nobody would tell him about Walter Davis because they don't talk about Walter Davis. I believe if Walter Davis went in the gym with Ant-Man, he would learn that mid-range game. He would become a mid-range assassin, but nobody won't tell him about it because they don't talk about nobody but who? Michael Jordan. So when you get that response from Ant-Man, it's because nobody is talking about Walter Davis.
I have Walter Davis top 5 all time.
So, I personally think somebody like Ant-Man will learn a lot from Walter Davis. But guess what? Ain't nobody gonna tell him about it.
Listen, I'm learning of Walter Davis. I learned of Walter Davis recently as well.
Like everybody else. You can.
Nah, but it's not that hard. It's not that hard. It's true. Again, we know they don't want to go back and watch the film because we all know it's really not that great of basketball. We can tell, but we can appreciate it because all of us here are real basketball fans. So what do you think of Walter Davis, Craig?
Oh yeah, he was nice. He was 18 points per game. That was not, like I said, it was a big
not 18, not the averages. You using averages. Not that.
Because it makes him playing. It makes him having 11. What's he got? 11,000 points in 612 games. It makes it sound better. But 345 at 11,000. God,
Craig, you can see
why he missed the season. This is what 5 full 80 seasons, half a decade. Like, what is he talking about here?
But Craig, you can see why Michael Jordan wanted Walter Davis on his team now, right? Instead of Scottie Pippen and them, right?
Another 18 point per game scorer, why not? There wasn't really no defense in the 80s. They were scoring like 110 points per game.
Oh my God! All right. So those were the '80s guys, right? Because we all know those were guys in the top 10.
Highlights. He got 345 games and 11,000 points. I want to see some Jordan highlights.
Somebody was putting up a lot of shots, huh?
Somebody and a lot of minutes. Look at the minutes. Jordan's minutes compared to everybody else's minutes, but we see Jordan's average.
45 for a career. I don't want to hit up on no minutes.
I cut off the points per game a little bit, but you can see Jordan was the only one averaging 30. World B. Free was averaging over 23, and obviously George Gervin was averaging over 26 in that era. We all know Sidney Moncrief. These guys were all great basketball players. They were great for the era. But let's get to the era that they love to say that Michael Jordan dominated, which is obviously, we all know, is the 90s.
Again,
right?
The least amount of games played. Come on now. What is we talking about?
Jordan with the least. Everything is the less. Less games played, less stats, less everything. That's what he has. So we all know Michael Jordan, even though he only played 585 games, he was out here dominating the 90s because he has the most points throughout the 90s. and which is for shooting guards now, ladies and gentlemen. These are just for shooting guards. Then we know Mitch Richmond was the man as well. Travis had mentioned him earlier in the show. Then we got Reggie Miller, which we all know is the guy we poke fun at all the time here in GOAT James Kingdom. Clyde Drexler, which is Jordan's counterpart, right? People used to bring up Clyde Drexler to show how Jordan had competition when they claimed Jordan was just so dominant. Then we have Hornacek, which you were talking about, right, Craig, with the finals opponents. We got Hornacek. We got Joe Dumars, another opponent of Jordan's. We got Hersey Hawkins, another opponent of Jordan's. We got Dale Curry. Now, mind y'all, if there was no expansion in the NBA, Dale Curry would not have these numbers. Obviously, we got Nick Anderson and John Starks. John Starks probably also benefited from the expansion of the NBA.
Didn't he play with Patrick Ewing his whole career? So he had a dominant system. He was getting buckets because they was doubling Patrick and he was kicking him out for them bullshit ass threes.
John Starks started in the CBA.
All right, so out of these players right here, y'all all agreed that they're not as skilled, right? Obviously, as the 2000s players, because these are the 2000s players right here. Right? They haven't played that many games, Craig. So does that matter? They didn't play that many games.
Look at that. He had 345. He had double-digit scoring. None of them got 9,000 in.
Well,
go to the 80s. Go to the 80s and games played. Look at that shit. 345, 11,000. Who got the least amount of games? How much points they got?
Who got the most amount of shots, Craig? Taken.
Well, you don't got it up here. I'm going by what I see.
But these are the 90s guys, right? So let's start with obviously Mitch Richmond. How skilled was Mitch Richmond, Travis?
Very. I mean, if you look at, so I wanted to quickly piggyback off what you said because you're right. I mean, in order to, like something like Ant-Man and like people who've just been in the league who aren't like maybe as old as we are. Like you have to, in order to be an actual basketball fan, you have to go back and do the work. You have to go back and do the research, not just old footage, although it helps, but you have to go back and get your stats right. You have to go back and get the information that's available now in order to be able to talk about the game. Now, a lot of people don't do that. They just speak on narratives, they speak off the cuff. They just, they're just an echo chamber of what they've heard. Mitch Richmond was a very skilled player. He did great back-to-back, especially in his prime. He was a great mid-range and three-point shooter. For that, especially for that era, he'd get to his spots. He was quick. He was decent defensively. He was just a great player. I mean, he could play in any era. He was one of the better shooting guards I think ever. I mean, especially if you're just looking at the raw numbers and output efficiency. And I mean, anyone who says they didn't or he's not, again, they just did not see him play, or they're just ignoring stats.
Well, you know what? A lot of people did not see Mitch Richmond play. You know why? He was on Sacramento. Yep. There weren't too many Sacramento games on television throughout the 90s. So, John, what?
They didn't get good until Weber came in the early 2000s.
That's true. But didn't he go to Golden State? No, he didn't. He started.
He was on Golden State and traded to Sacramento.
And he went to Washington. He went to Washington too.
Yeah, he did also go to Washington as well. So what are your takes on the skill level of Mitch Richmond there, John?
I love it. It's three players on this list who have multi-level scores: Jordan, Richmond, and Clyde. Richmond was. If you want to know who might have done it the best, it might have been Richmond of the three. Now a lot of people gonna take Jordan was the best, but when you say multi-level scores and who did it all at the high level, it's Richmond. He could shoot the three ball, mid-range. His back to the basket game was like no other. I mean, he was just different, and he just played on really bad teams, had bad luck playing on really bad teams, but his skill level was, if you put him on a good team, he can create his own shot. I can't tell you about his defense as much, but his offensive game was his skill level. He can handle the ball. His playmaking skills is about average, a little above average, but he can put the ball in the basket. He went at Jordan like no other. He can take him off the dribble. He could put him on a block. I watched those games, and I had never seen nobody go at Jordan like that, ever, and consistently did it. So, hey, Richmond game was different. He's one of them type of players who could play in any era, and he didn't have to change his game at all.
Facts. Craig, what you got on Mitch Richmond's game?
Oh yeah, Mitch Richmond was nice. It just sucked that he was on a crappy team. He didn't find the courage to go find another star to play with to try to do something. But yeah, he was good and efficient too. That was one of the main things. He was very efficient. He was very efficient. But I always say about this, he averaged 23 points when his team scored 105 points per game at that.
Mm-hmm.
Today, they're scoring 30 and their team is scoring 130 points. So it's likely the same. Their production is giving them the same based on the points. They're getting the same equal production. It's just you got more scores now. That's the only difference. Everybody, like I said, everybody's more offensive this now. Everybody's offensive more than their defensive. Back then, if you couldn't play offense, you could still make the lead by being a good defender. Now you gotta shoot. Period. Whether you can defend or not. Look what they got Victor out there doing. Nigga like 8 feet tall, trying to Stephon Marbury somebody from the 3-point line. Like he's a better defender than he is an offensive player, but they're gonna make him a more offensive oriented player. I feel it.
I think no, he's gonna. We're gonna find out this year more about.
He was supposed to be the defensive player of the year this year.
He should have won it. I think Bam should have won it, but he could have won it besides Rudy Gobert. This is the first time, y'all. Shout out to Jim Brown. He finally said something smart in the comments. He said Mitch Richmond's from Fort Lauderdale's very own Boyd Anderson. I didn't know that. Shout out to BA because I'm from South Florida and Boyd Anderson does have some stars. I didn't know Mitch Richmond came out of South Florida and Fort Lauderdale. Shout out to Mitch Richmond. Good job by you.
Johnny,
bringing up that information.
Then he capped himself by saying that King John was cooking for once.
Yeah. Now we was going. Me and Jim Brown was going at it 2 weeks ago. So I take that shot. It's cool.
well, we listen. Here in Goat James Kingdom, we like I said, they like the eye test. We also like the eye test. Let's watch some highlights of Mitch Richmond.
Mitch Richmond, and rebounded by Tolbert. Tolbert was the sixth man at Boston. Nice spin move by Mitch Richmond. He goes left. 89% from three-point range, 37 for 94 before that one. Here's 14. Quickie to Richmond. Good minutes. Warriors still down by 7. Biggest lead was 11 by the Sixers, with the Warriors 4. Pretty duck under move. 3:50 remaining. Mitch Richmond. Right on. Oh, Anderson going for the gamble. That frees up Richmond.
Let's see if Richmond goes away.
Rod Higgins. Threaded the needle to Richmond. He does it again.
So, as y'all can see, Mitch Richmond had some moves.
Sacramento highlights. He got some Sacramento highlights. Woo!
Yeah, I know. Again, y'all can go out there and go look up the highlights yourself because obviously, hey, you say you're a basketball fan. So why you waiting on Goat James Kingdom, huh?
He was a part of Run TMC, correct?
Yeah, he was a part of Run TMC as well.
He got traded.
He got traded. Yeah, he got traded as well. He got traded as well. And obviously,
they broke them up too prematurely.
Yeah, they did.
Look, here comes the idiots. Y'all just found out Mitch Richmond was nice? No, we're giving you highlights. You didn't know Mitch Richmond was nice. You didn't see Mitch Richmond play. We know that for a fact.
Yes.
But shout out to True the King. What's good, brother? He said here Joe Dumars is underrated as well. Well, here at Goat James Kingdom, we don't do y'all without no justice, man. Y'all make sure to hit that.
Finals MVP is never underrated.
Y'all make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, become a member of the channel. Also, make sure to check out True the King on the Crossover and In the Zone and other platforms that we have going on FYF. Shout out to everybody on the FYF platform. Y'all make sure to subscribe to that channel. We're available on all different platforms. We're available on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And we're all over the place. You guys know what to do best. Discord. This is the Goat James Kingdom platform. Shout out to everybody on the FYF. Let's give them some Joe Dumars highlights.
Dumars looking for Bedford. Takes the shot from the corner. It's tied at 6. As Rodman on the left. Nice. Kicks it to Dumars from the right. Dumars.
Well, that was definitely something, okay? And then
Moses up front with Battle and Doc Rivers in the backcourt for Atlanta. Dumars on the penetration, and Joe
But he said, look, I can't fear you. I just have to play and take the hits.
Dumars buries it from 19 feet.
10 minutes before this one was to get underway. Floor still dirty. Dumars on the drive, gets the bucket.
He's 7'5".
Pistons by 9, minute 22 and a half. Dumars into the paint. Bedford kicked it back over his head, intentionally or not, I don't know.
Joe Dumars there, ladies and gentlemen. So let's start with you, Travis. What about Joe Dumars? What kind of skill level is Joe Dumars compared to today's NBA?
Oh, dude, Prem Joe Dumars is, again, he can play in the era, especially defensively. Like, he was, as far as the guard position, he was probably a top 10 defensive guard of all time. And, like, he was a great two-way player. Like you said, he had a nice jumper, he'd get to his spots. I keep saying, all the best players have these same traits. They have great footwork. They know when to pull up. They know where the defense is. They have a good stroke. They're consistent. They're efficient. I mean, Dumars is no different. And the thing that separates him is he was a dog defensively too. And so when you see all these things happen, like you see the eye test, and then like I think a lot of people just miss it, and like they don't, like people are pointing out in the chat. A lot of these players, especially when we're talking about offensively, are unknowns because they don't have the marquee names. And like people haven't really gotten back and done this research that you guys do. And like to see these players, to see these numbers, relatively speaking, I mean, he would do great today, no doubt. Especially because I think it's harder to play defense today. But his IQ for the game was so high, he's one of those players who could be a great two-way player in any era.
Yeah, but he was the kind of player that Gilbert Arenas.
So he had to have a jump shot.
He was a
He's
Honda Accord.
What Joe Dumars is 6'3", and Isaiah was 6'4"?
Yeah, something like that.
Who's the Bugatti today? Like we have all Bugattis.
Oh, I'm finna show you a Bugatti very shortly. I'm finna show you a Bugatti very shortly.
Ain't nothing but a Honda with a twin turbo engine.
Joe Dumars was extremely solid. Whatever his average was for that season, you just know you walk into that game, you was going to get exactly that. If he was averaging 18 points, that's what he was going to give you per game. He didn't have them highs like that, them extremely like 40, 50-point games. I ain't saying he had none. I'm just saying he wasn't one of those type of players. He was a really solid player. If you had him on this team, you can walk in the door. You can walk in that game and say, he averaged 18, that's what he's going to give you per game, 18. I can guarantee he's going to give you a minimum 18. So that's the type of player he was.
Also, John and Johnny, like, you got to think all these players today, like, look at all those players, right? You got to think, like, in today's league, where they have 5, 6, 7 more shots per game, personally, like, they would average more points per game and, like, on similar efficiency because they all have mid-range to, like, 3-point jumpers. Like, their production wouldn't go down. I mean, they would look similar to players today. Like there's no question.
Yeah, that's what I said. The points they averaging 125 points? And
today?
They averaging 30?
Not today. No, the NBA don't average that much points today.
They do.
This ain't the highest scoring era.
They average 120 points per game in today's NBA? No,
it's like 116 today.
Yeah, it's like 110, 115, somewhere around there. I agree with you there. The pace is a little bit slower than the 80s was. But again, they shoot a lot more threes in today's era, so the efficiency of the amount of scoring is a little bit different as well.
Yeah.
And that's what we're saying. The 80s, they didn't take all these threes, and they scoring the same amount of points. So what really is the skill that they're doing today?
I mean, the 60s were the highest scoring era ever, right?
Well,
like, were they better than
players? That's the only difference between the 80s, 90s, 2000s. More 3-point attempts. That's the only difference.
That's fact.
But a three-pointer is a skill, though. Shooting a three is a skill point.
Everything is a skill. So what is there really? So what are we really saying? They're just better 3-point shooters today? I can agree with that.
They're better at creating a shot off the dribble today.
Yeah, they're better off the
There's
dribble
more
as well.
people doing it today. But
that's what makes it more skilled. That's the whole point. Like, because let's just say, because we all know Reggie Miller is skilled, right? We know that. We know Clyde Drexler is skilled, right?
People are skilled to do the objectivity to win the game. Today's skills is require you to shoot more threes to win the game. Back then, that wasn't a requirement, so people wasn't doing it too.
Well, I mean, let's
3-pointers back in the day is if you was down by 3 or wide open. That was
okay. Let's do this then, because Jeff Hornacek is a 3-point shooter, right? So let's see how Jeff Hornacek was getting his shots off during the 90s.
85-82, the Trailblazers have come back. Hornacek drives it with a big
jumper. He and Marley have been fantastic. Phoenix led by 3 after 1 and added a point to their lead in each of the second and third quarters. Hornacek right back. No stopping him tonight. He's got 30. See, it's the ball.
Hornacek lets it go. Kukoc got there late. And Hornacek connects.
And then Hornacek off the transition, early offense. He squares it up and hits a tough shot over Tony Kukoc to cut it to 3. It's a very difficult shot.
Hornacek with room and with 2.
First 2.
Hornacek will bring it back. Now takes a little lunge and somehow hits it. Man, he's got a wide array of shots and seems to be able to change it in midair if the defense makes him.
I don't know about that. He said he got a wide array of shots. Did you see that, Travis?
Everything was off picks. He was just getting off of. That's all he was doing. That's all Utah was doing.
Craig, when you said
screens, he was coming off screens.
When you said what was the reason why Utah lost to the Bulls? Utah
didn't have a dominant shooting guard.
No, they didn't have nobody who could create their own shot.
Wait a minute, Jordan didn't have no competition? What did you tell us?
Because he didn't have no dominant shooting guards that could average.
They didn't have nobody who can create their shot off the dribble. I mean, they actually did, but they ran offense. I mean, if you're in trouble, you need somebody who can create their own shot off the dribble, and they didn't do that.
Shut out to Mar. He said here, where is the tough defense? You're right. All this footage we watching, I ain't see no tough defense, but we did see Jeff Hornacek lighting it up. I don't know. Again, these are shooters. These are catch and shooter guys. That's what Hornacek looked like. He didn't look like he could take anybody off the dribble, so he has to run and get around screens to get a shot off.
And you don't like. The thing is, you don't want your offense based on people who can create their own offense and like eat up the shot clock and draw the defense. Like, you want the best players who are gonna be in position, who are gonna come out, like John said, come off the screen, shoot a high percentage from 3. Hornacek, obviously, he wasn't gonna break people down and like create his own shot 100% of the time, but he was a lethal shooter from all 3 levels. Obviously, he could, he had he didn't have really a back-to-basket game, but he was a fantastic. He was like Mark Price. You had like people like.
I agree. Point guards in that era could shoot off the dribble, but I don't know, these shooting guards, they can't shoot off the dribble like that.
That's the thing, because they wasn't ball dominant, so they didn't really have to be dribbling. So they wasn't dribbling.
Percy Hawkins, you had like a bunch of players, Dan Marley, like you had a bunch of players who could like do that, come off the leg, create their own. I mean, it's part of the offense. You want the best team. I don't care if some guy's gonna take up 20 seconds to try to go one-on-one with my best defender. I'll take that every day. I'll take Devin Booker eating 18 seconds off the shot clock to go against Drew Holiday if that's what their offense is going to be. I want people who move. I want
under the bus.
I want the 2014 Spurs. I want the 93 Suns when 8 players are averaging double figures. That's what I want. I want the best team. And that was not like the Jazz. That's why the 98 Jazz with almost no names, like especially like when you think of just pure offensive dominance, that's why they were like the Spurs before the Spurs were the Spurs. It's because they had great players who like great team players, high IQ shooters, one great dominant offensive guy one-on-one Malone, but they had great defenders. They were a cohesive team. That's why they were consistently giving everyone the business in the 90s as far as their own conference.
They were horrible. I don't know about that. That Jazz team, I can't say nothing about that team. They scored 54 points in the finals game. They had great defense.
Right. You can't say anything about them.
They had a great defense because they used to hog, like you said, they used to take forever to get the ball down into a Karl Malone. You talking about, I'd rather Karl Malone dribble all those long ass times and dribble the ball in and out to him and Stockton and Jeff Hornacek than to sit here and disrespect the players of today who actually have to create their own shot. So I don't know what you're saying about that, Travis. I don't know, man. That 90s look horrible.
Like they were a cohesive team. Like you have that today too. But I'm saying I don't want a bunch of players who are just looking to create their own shots. I want players who are bought into the team's game, the team dynamic. Is it helpful to have a Jason Tatum? Absolutely. Is it helpful to have a an Ant-Man who can do that if needed? Yes.
Kobe?
But I want guys-
Is it like that to have a Kobe to get a shot off whenever you need a shot? Huh?
Yeah, of course.
You wanted to say Kobe.
Kobe's my guy.
Because Kobe's his guy. Because we all know Kobe is Travis's guy. So what you think of that, John? I think John Havlicek will benefit from today's NBA because he'll be able to shoot a lot more. But what do you think of his skill level?
His skill level was solid. I mean, if he can create more off the dribble, it would enhance his game. I mean, just look at somebody like Kyrie Irving, and you really saw what his game looked like when LeBron came over because he can come off picks, he can shoot spot up jumpers. It wasn't all off the dribble, and then because he can go off the dribble, it really expands his game. It's harder to guard it. So Jeff Hornacek was again a mid-range assassin. That's what the 90s was about. Mid-range assassins. Kill that mid-range. It makes you unstoppable in a way if you can go in the mid-range. I mean, that's the era I grew up in. You had to shoot in the mid-range. So
because you couldn't shoot a three. Because you couldn't shoot a three. Because shooting the three, you was horrible at shooting the three. You were better off shooting mid-range. So you asked for the 90s guys, Craig. We brought a couple of guys up here. We got Jeff Hornacek now. What do you think of Jeff Hornacek's skills?
He was a scorer off the screen. That would translate in today. Instead of it being middies, they'll just do it for the 3-point line. So like it's literally it just moved. Just do it a little farther back, and I mean he was a good 3-point shooter. I mean he wasn't a dribbler because that was Jock Stockton's job. So that's why you see most of his plays is coming off a screen. They had a guard who was ball dominant. So his plays was mainly to keep the defense honest, thinking they won't pass it Carballone every single play down the line. So that's why you will see those screen plays. So they would design 2 or 3 plays per quarter for him to keep the defense from focusing on Malone the whole quarter whenever he was playing. So he for his role, he's a role player. That was his role.
Yeah. Jim Brown asks, why does everyone have to create off the dribble? Everyone having their own style makes the game interesting because they play better defense in today's NBA. I don't know if y'all been watching this defense, but let's look at somebody else from this same era. We looked at Mitch Richmond. We gave Jeff Hornacek and Joe Dumars a look. Let's give Hersey Hawkins a look because this is another guy like John said, that a lot of these guys people don't know about, although he did face Jordan in the finals as well. So this one's for you, Craig.
New Shadow 96 Sonics.
He played with a big, dominant big man with Kemp.
And Barkley.
That much.
And Barkley. So let's go ahead and let's watch Hersey Hawkins, who is again, we're looking up shooting guards in Jordan's era, because that is exactly what Anthony Edwards was talking about, if Jordan was facing anybody skilled as him. So let's look up Hersey Hawkins' skills.
Knocked into the hands of Dawkins. Bulls can win one more game. Here's Hawkins from outside, 5-4. They will have accumulated the longest win. Shackelford underneath. Here's the dish to Johnny Dawkins. 2 for 2 for Johnny Dawkins from outside. The 6-2 tank. Horace Grant, who has 6 points. Grant doing a good job off the boards. Here's Hersey Hawkins, and Hawkins. It's 23-17 here in the first quarter. Ooh, Hersey Hawkins gets rid of Michael Jordan and scores.
Great move by Hersey Hawkins. He's continuing to score well this evening. He made a nice move to get by Jordan. Jordan with a little one-handed pump.
Stole a pass and threw a shot in one motion to beat the Sixers in a buzzer beater. There's the shot up and good by Hawkins.
Ooh, that boy Hersey Hawkins got some skill
I like
there.
that he did the pump fake, and then that was the only highlight.
Now, how many Hawkins did we watch? I could have sworn they had 2 Hawkins on that team.
No, it was Johnny Dawkins and Hersey Hawkins. Yeah, it was Johnny Dawkins.
Was he highlighting an assist or a point? Like,
you know what? Shout out to you there, Mar. You seeing what I see. Me and you got the same eye test. I don't see no hand checking. I didn't see nobody hand checking nothing over there. And all of these footages of all of these players we've been watching.
Because if you're a scorer, hand checking
doesn't
doesn't bother you. I said that at the beginning. If you are a scorer, hand checking doesn't bother you at all. I mean, it doesn't. And I mean, and to Jim Brown, to the statement you made, why creating off the dribble? Because if people watch enough film on you and you're a spot up shooter, I'm gonna beat you to the spot because I know exactly where you're gonna be at all the time. So when you learn how to create your own shot off the dribble, it makes it harder to defend you. That's why I always say it expands your game. You should learn how to hit that spot up shot, but also if you learn how to create your own shot, it makes it harder to defend you. For example, Klay Thompson, it's not that he don't know how to shoot anymore. Teams gonna beat him to the spot. I know where you finna go. You go to the same spot all the time, so I'm gonna just beat you there. So it makes his shots harder now because I can defend it better.
Yeah, he's been playing in the league too long for not him to learn something because that's the Utah days. Remember, he was in Phoenix dropping buckets with no dribble moves.
Yeah, that was true, but they were playing horrible defense back then. Yeah, they were playing horrible defense back then. I mean, I'm not even finna lie.
I mean, didn't we see a team lose by 70-something points a couple of years ago?
I don't know about that. What team lost by 70? What team lost by 70?
Like 170 to 90-something?
Craig, I don't have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm gonna go pull that game up. A team lost.
You better go find that game. You go put up that game.
I know it was. I'm gonna pull it up right now.
You gonna play? So Travis, what's up with Hersey Hawkins? What we saying about Hersey Hawkins?
He's the kind of role player that you want on pretty much every team. He's like a Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson's better, obviously, but he's like a guy who just a lethal outside shooter. He's like kind of what Sam Perkins was to that 91 Lakers team. He can come around screens. He can shoot the ball. He's like Hornacek too. Like he's a lethal outside shooter. He can stretch the defense. You need these guys filling out your bench or whatever lineup you're running because they do exactly that. You can't really account for them all the time. It makes the defense do different things. Are they going to say Hersey Hawkins was like, are they going to say he was one of the best, one-on-one players? No, but it doesn't matter. You get in because you're able to fulfill your role to the utmost degree, and that's how they build teams, based on role players, based on what they want to do as a team. And Hersey Hawkins can play on any team.
Hersey Hawkins was a good baller. He was a good baller. I don't know if he can last and play with these dudes, though. I don't know if he could be a guard.
November 30th, 2021, Memphis Grizzlies beat Oklahoma 152-79 for a 73-point thrashing.
Which game was that? Hold on, wait, say that again. Go ahead, Craig, say that again.
Memphis 152, Oklahoma 79.
Just so you know, Craig, I knew what you was talking about. That's why I said. That's what I said. I don't know what you're talking about.
How the fuck you lose by 73 points?
Who was hurt?
How you lose by what the 2000s was scoring on a consistent basis?
Who was hurt? Who was hurt?
And Shea was on that Oklahoma team that scored the 79 points for Russ.
Oh, get destroyed, Shea.
Shea Alexander. Oh my God.
The MVP, runner-up.
Oh my God. Listen, I'm not finna lie to y'all. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I'm not gonna lie. Malik Monk and Tyler Hero is more skilled than all those players we just showed from the 80s and the 90s.
I thought you were gonna lie.
I'm just being real.
But there's
Tyler Hero
like
is Jeff Hornacek, and Jeff Hornacek learned how to create his own shot.
Exactly, because this is what Tyler Hero been doing.
17 points. 14 of them came in a row. Tyler, left-hand dribble against Matthews. Knocks it down.
Beautiful control of his body there. Able to get Matthews on his right hip, put the brakes on, and was able to go right to that mid-range jump and still be a threat on the offensive end, even though he's taking a pounding trying to guard bigger guys night in, night out.
Do you believe this man, Tyler Hero, with another triple?
I can't quite figure out where he's more comfortable yet, inside or maybe outside looking to shoot those jump shots. Got to see him play a little bit more. What a talent.
Max Strus gets his own miss back, finds Hero, a corner three. Kaboom! Feed that man the ball. Tyler Hero, 25 first half point. Here's Jim with a right-hand dribble into the paint. Now Max flipping it back to Hero. Here it comes. Kaboom! You almost expect them to go in now. 28 points for Hero. Shoots his pass, deflected, gets it back. Hero from deep. Kaboom!
Woo! Are you kidding me with that range?
What? Hornacek barely made.
You both got 2 final losses for their skills. They both
Hornacek barely made 10 field goals in the game, let alone 10 3-pointers, like my boy Tyler Hero was doing that night. That is what you call skills, ladies and gentlemen, against tough defense. Guys that are balling up on you,
Tough
like
defense.
Kevin Garnett was talking about.
Half those threes were like wide open.
No, they were not wide open. Are you crazy? Let's watch. First of all, let's watch how Malik Monk goes and creates his own shot and shows the skills of Malik Monk.
Minnesota team, 42-17, 22-6 in this building. One of their home losses came from these Sacramento Kings as Malik Monk back to an 8-point game. Kings' largest lead was 14 in that first quarter. Monk, he had Mike Conley draped all on him, but he played him like a fiddle for the second straight game. Here's Malik.
That's a foul right there.
Edwards got a piece of him. Davion, though, is having himself a night. He's got 9 points. Shot clock is off. 5 on the clock. Monk throws it out. HB falling, firing, hitting. HB.
He's just great at attacking you after offensive rebounds, and that was a long bounce on that missed 3.
Let's see if Malik can get going. Splash. Malik Monk.
That, you know, you're kind of bumping jaws a little bit. It's physical out there, but Malik is not the guy that you want to get into it with. There's tons of value in that.
Monk regathered himself. Oh, tough fall away. Uh-oh. Somebody's woke up the beast. Somebody's woke up the bear.
What? Here's what. Nobody was in the paint. That was against Rudy Gobert and when the best defense in basketball. What are you talking about? That was way better defense than we saw.
In the playoffs.
That looked like
a more skilled. He can't play in the playoffs. They got to be winning by 20 for him to be in the fourth quarter.
That's what you. That is what Anthony Edwards is talking about. He had to go up against Malik Monk. And Malik Monk,
the same thing Chris Richmond was doing. Because one person couldn't do it.
Yeah, but Malik Monk is nowhere on this list. Rich Richmond was the second best player. Malik Monk is nowhere on this list. He's nowhere to be found. That's what that's what he's trying to say. That's how much more skill is in today's NBA. Malik Monk and Tyler Hero are not top 10 scorers in the 2020s.
They both They both
they probably take half as many shots as the guys who were actually leading in scoring.
He noticed. I bet you they take the same amount of attempts, if not more, even though they come off the bench.
See, look, this is what they talk about. Everybody get hot in the game. We just showed you players' highlights. What you think? They showed you highlights of somebody's not hot game against Hersey Hawkins or Rolando Blackman?
We saw Malik Monk hit like 2 5-foot hook shots over guys who weren't contesting. That's fine. That's great. That's still a skill. And like he was hitting up rating, but like we saw players do that you showed us highlights of in the 80s and 90s. It's just they could do the same thing. It's just volume of shots. You can't tell me that like it wasn't him doing that in the face of like 3 defenders draping out. Like, come on. It's the same thing. It's like, can more players do it today because the rosters are deeper? Sure. We've agreed upon that. I'm not debating that. Like the way they scout, the way everything is made, like you need people who can shoot the ball, especially from 3, because they're taking 42, 45 shots from 3 per game. Like that's what you look for when you're scouting. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that like those players are inherently more skilled than the best players.
They're more skilled.
Maybe the role players.
No, that's what he's trying to say across the board. Across the board, players are just more skilled. Jordan was the only skilled one. Running around here playing against Reggie Miller, who has to look down at the ball when he's dribbling up the court. Guys like Hornacek, who can't create his own shot.
So stop saying that.
Dale Curry. Dale Curry. Mind you, Dale Curry is a sharp shooter, but he couldn't create his own shot. Don't even get me started on John Starks.
Oh God!
Don't get me started on John Starks.
That was the wife, huh?
Is she capping
keep
up?
it up,
calling
man.
your cap out, man.
Don't get me started on John Starks. We're
Allen
talking about
Houston.
shooting guards. We're not talking about small forwards and things of that nature. Because I can show you some dominant small forwards.
Because y'all keep hollering basketball is a team sport. So what? He didn't have nobody that could guard him. The centers couldn't guard him. The power forward, nobody could guard him. So I'm just confused. Like, what is this supposed to say?
I mean, all this is supposed to say is, listen, the 2000s and the 20s
even in the 2000s, he got more points than all of these players that's taking more threes than him. Anthony Edwards.
There's so much context.
Make a post about Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards has no problem with Jordan. He thinks Jordan is super skilled. He just thinks all the rest of these guys ain't super skilled.
Jordan is super skilled. Period. Whether it's the 80s, 90s, or the 2020s, by this logic,
you exposed him for like the last hour and a half, Ajay.
Who exposed who?
I'm just saying. Look at that. 585. Go to the games in the 2020s. Go to the game.
I didn't expose nothing. All I did was show y'all some highlights of these players that supposedly were, Jordan's competition, even though they really wasn't his competition. Jordan dominated them.
There was 5 players on the court. This is why I'm so fucking confused. It's a team sport, except for when you want to put labels on what players guarding.
That's because what's it called? Anthony Edwards got pulled into a Zesty Jeffrey argument, and that's what they do. They'll pull you into an argument you don't want to get into. They'll get you into a trap, talking about stuff we can't talk about.
He said I never watched.
He was getting Jordan.
So you think he out of the blue he just said, "Yo, Michael Jordan was the only skilled players in the '90s. There was nothing pertaining to the conversation, nothing at all."
Yeah,
literally. And he was a dumbass for saying that.
So, I mean, obviously, they both have a point, right? Because, like I said, does KG have a point? Is KG right about what he said?
In the playoffs. Y'all don't say the shooting guard cooked Jordan in the playoffs. Y'all say Bird. Bird swept Jordan. He not a shooting guard. Bird swept Jordan.
He did get swept twice by Larry Bird.
Thomas beat Jordan, not a shooting guard.
That's true. That is Joe Dumars as well. So
Penny Hardaway, Shaq, they beat Jordan in playoffs. They're not a shooting guard.
Yeah,
but when he wins, it's because of the shooting guard.
That makes some sense. But look, KG.
I'm just confused.
I'm just saying. KG took it to another level.
I guess the only legit loss was against Sidney Moncrief for somebody in the first round of his rookie season.
Yeah. Other than that, though, when he was in the 2000s,
only time he been outscored in the playoffs.
But in the 2000s, he wasn't skilled enough. He wasn't skilled enough to handle the skilled players in the 2000s. So the 2000s he was really skilled.
It's funny that Craig said all these names, but he didn't say any shooting guards. Because I think my point was he was talking about shooting. He's talking about shooting guards.
It didn't take a shooting guard to beat Jordan.
That's why Jordan.
It wasn't any shooting guard.
He had no competition with the shooting guard.
Yeah, that's why.
Which one is it?
No, that's why Michael.
Because of the shooting guard, but he lost without them having a shooting guard.
Can I get a great?
No, that's why Michael Jordan got all these points in 500 games because he didn't have no shooting guard to go up against. He had no competition.
We already said that those lists suck.
Yeah, because Jordan scored 102 points per game.
If he could, he would. We all know Michael Jordan was score 102 points per game. He could because he definitely wanted to beat Wilt Chamberlain's 100 points, but he couldn't do it. That's for sure. But again, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about this great conversation about KG versus Ant-Man. Obviously, we giving y'all what most people don't give y'all, the real information. So we gave y'all footages of the 80s and 90s. You've got a chance to watch the beginning of the show. If you didn't, go back and watch it, and you can see some footage of players like Rolando Blackman, Walter Davis, Hersey Hawkins, Mitch Richmond, right? Joe Dumars.
Where's Clyde?
Jeff Hornacek. Well, we all know Clyde Drexler is dominant. We don't have to show that. We already know that. All we're going to do is show Clyde Drexler highlights just for y'all to say that Michael Jordan beat him.
Yeah.
Y'all play Herschel Hawkins highlights.
He's the only one of the finals besides who? Like Hawkins? Or no, Hawkins, Hornacek? Who faced? Moncrief? Finals are your big thing as the goat slurpers, right?
The goat slurpers. Craig, did you find out a name for the LeBron fans that you feel comfortable with?
I gotta see how they feel. I don't want to say him yet because I gotta feel how they say in the conversation. Because if it don't sound right, it's gonna sound stupid. I'm gonna embarrass myself. So
Craig in the mirror talking Zesty Jeffrey slurs. I mean, LeBron James fan slurs. That is hilarious. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to shout out LeBron James fans because here at GOAT James Kingdom, we're LeBron James fans. We think LeBron is the GOAT, and we're not the only people out here.
Them two, not me. Them two, not me. Them two, not me.
Matter of fact, let's go ahead and separate and divide ourselves from them down there at the bottom. Let's go ahead and separate and divide ourselves from those at the bottom, because we know Craig and Travis are MJ delegates. They are not LeBron James.
Now, one LeBron in my
fans.
background.
Now you don't own one pair of LeBron sneakers?
Actually, I do, but they're not here. They're somewhere else.
Do you sell them? Because I know you sell them. Do you sell them as well?
No, I help people. I help people obtain them. I don't do that. I help people get them, like, because these resales be crazy. So it's retail or no sale, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But either way, we're not out here trying to do no Michael Jordan fan activities talking about sneakers. We're gonna actually talk about LeBron James fans and what we do best. So for King John, right, who has a segment of his own, and shout out to King John for bringing up a segment of his own. He's gonna be providing flowers to a LeBron James content creator who gives basically LeBron James a great light in the social media world. So John will be going on ahead and giving his flowers out. Y'all give a shout out to John, and this is flowers from King John.
Rosebetters!
I'm giving out flowers, and I started hearing this phrase in black radio growing up, and it meant to honor, thank, recognize those who are special and while they're alive and not when they pass. And we want to give recognition to a channel called LeBron James History. And he's one of the first channels I've seen personally posting about LeBron and showing highlights. And some of the things I've seen on he's one of the first people I've seen with the Sports Illustrated chosen one page. He's one of the first one who showed highlights of LeBron high school games. On his Instagram page is called LeBron History. He has 462,000 followers. On Twitter, he has 1,030 followers. He's one of the biggest pages out there. If you ever posted anything about LeBron, 9 times out of 10, his stamp is on it. Because he edits his own work. He does a great job editing. And he posts about advanced stats, just stats playing, highlight games. He posted about the 3-1 comeback, the Detroit, the 25 straight points versus Detroit, the 45-point game versus Boston, game 6. He posts about everything, and he's a very positive guy. He's one of them guys that if you ask him why LeBron's the GOAT, he's going to tell you why LeBron's the GOAT. Why not why somebody else is not the GOAT. He's going to post to you why LeBron is the GOAT, and he's going to explain to you everything about LeBron. He's a very positive page. You can follow him on Instagram, LBJ History or LeBron History, and he's also on Twitter as well. He's one of the most positive pages out there. And again, if you follow LeBron James, please go follow him. I mean, he has a great page, and I mean, he has a subscription where he talks about he gets you special exclusive things for $2.99 a month. And hey, go follow him. I told him about this. We had a scheduling conflict because he was going to come on. His schedule wasn't right, but if I could ever get him on, trust me, I would get him on here. He's great. He's a great guy. We conversated, and if I ever can get him on here to talk to everybody, I will. And that's all I have to say. LBJ History, once a week, I'm gonna give you somebody that I see who's very positive about LeBron James. And LeBron History was one of the first pages I ever seen on social media talking very positive about LeBron James.
Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, again, that is LBJ History. They're available on IG. You also said Twitter, and yes. Where else again, John?
Just Instagram and Twitter.
Just Instagram into it. Again, they are LBJ History. They have officially gotten their flowers by King John. Shout out to King John for showing love to these other content creators. Because again, GOAT James Kingdom are not the only ones out here showing you that LeBron James is the GOAT. If you want to go look up, they're obviously bigger than us here in GOAT James Kingdom. Shout out to LeBron James History or LBJ History as they got their flowers through John. Shout out to you, John, for that one. Yes, indeed, man. That was a great job by you, John. No doubt, no doubt. That was great fun. Again, y'all make sure to support the people who are out here talking the game of basketball. Y'all make sure to subscribe to our channel. Check us out. Again, we are going live right off the GOAT James Kingdom channel. We're going live on IG. We're also going live on Facebook. We're also going live with the FYF Sports Debate channel. So shout out to Lamont and all the fellas over there in FYF Sports Debate. Y'all make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Also hit the ring notification to let y'all know when we go live, because we do this every Sunday noon where we talk about the GOAT conversation in basketball, even during football season, because we're basketball fans and we have a great time talking the game right here on GOAT James Kingdom. So I'm about to actually put the link up very shortly here as we have one last segment, because obviously we're not going to let the show go on without letting Travis go in on somebody for saying something silly in the comments, or actually for somebody who said something great in the comments. So we're gonna have another segment here where Travis go on ahead, and we call this is a special one right here for y'all, ladies and gentlemen. This is the chat bomb right here. This is the chat bomb with T Perfect, ladies and gentlemen.
We are interrupting our normal programming. The current threat level is critical, meaning an attack is imminent. Civilians are advised to remain indoors. In some urban areas, evacuations are taking place. If you're in one of these areas, police will help you to safety. Follow their orders without question. You should remain indoors until you are told otherwise. You should now prepare for a nuclear strike. You will not be able to leave your location for 14 days after the strike.
All right, guys. Yeah, so like you said, my segment, like on a weekly basis, is mainly designed, is obviously you guys get a pass this week because you really didn't know. But I want you guys, before the link goes up each week, to fire a great question at me. It doesn't have to be GOAT debate related, it can be, but just anything basketball related, like rankings, comparisons, things that you want my opinion on as far as what you think maybe is a topic, a narrative. This week, what I'm going to do is very quickly, I'm going to debunk a narrative that we see kind of on both sides, just to be fair. And then I will handle one very terrible take that I saw today in the chat from one of our favorite people. But for right now, the first one that I want to debunk very quickly is that Kevin Love and Chris Bosh were not top 10 players, or you couldn't argue that they were top 10 players the year before they actually joined the Miami Heat and the Cavaliers respectively. So Bosh in 2010 finished again top 10 in rebounds per game, points per game, offensive win shares, and offensive box plus minus. He was actually the only player in the league to finish top 10 in one of the three major categories, which is assists, rebounds, and points per game. Only player to do that. And so, again, he was by any definition a top 10 player. Again, if you talk about just the impact on his team, his starting lineup was himself, Andre Bargnani, Haiti Turkoglu, DeMar DeRozan at 20 years old, and Garrett Jack. And he still led that team to basically a 500 record. So if you want to say he wasn't a top 10 player, fine, but where's your proof? Where's your evidence? I say that's cap. For Kevin Love, he had a historic season. He was top 10 in basically every metric across the board. Points per game, rebounds per game, PER, win shares of 48, box plus minus, and VORP. So he was a dominant player by any metric. There's no way that you can argue that he was not a top 10 player without just using some sort of a narrative, and I dared to try. Okay. Also, that season was historic, where he was one of only 5 players to have at least 26 plus points per game, 12 plus rebounds, and 4 plus assists in a single season. The only players to do that were Wilt, Elton Baylor, Kareem, and Billy Cunningham, and himself. So if you want to say that, again, he wasn't the best player in the league, fine, no argument with that. But to say he wasn't a top 10 player just says that you did not know the basketball and you're just a LeBron supporter and you're biased. LeBron's awesome, but these people were certified alphas and top 10 players before they joined that team. And then very quickly, again, on the flip side, to say that LeBron had the most help ever, it is not correct. So only 3 top 10, consensus top 10, I should say, players in league history have actually played with the reigning MVP and won a title the same year. Can you tell me who those are? Probably not. It was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar twice in 87, 89, Kobe in 2000 with Shaq, and then Magic in 1980. So those players had the most help in league history. They were the backseat driver to the players who were basically carrying that team. Dominance. Those are the players who had the most help. Obviously, from a team perspective, you can look at anything you want. But to say that, and obviously, let's say Mike too. Mike was one of the only players in league history. Pippen finished top 10 in MVP voting 5 different times. So all these players had as much, if more, help than LeBron James, especially if we're talking consistently and statistically. So it's kind of even there. Now, also, just the last part here. Just since we didn't really know, I can always count on this gentleman to have a terrible take that we can easily debunk and expose. And that would be your boy, Kobe, number 8, number 24, where he said Kobe was robbed in 09 and 10 of MVP over LeBron James. By what measurement? I don't care that he won a title. This is a regular season award. LeBron James smokes Kobe in like basically all the metrics. He's a way better stat line. Smokes him in every advanced analytic, win shares per 48 PER, offensive, defensive box, anything you want to look at. LeBron was a better, more impactful player than Kobe Bryant. Where is your evidence that Kobe was better and was robbed, other than your nostalgia and like the Kobe Bryant poster you got hanging over your bed? I want to know your evidence. Don't just say things, just get exposed. That's it.
Ooh, wee. All right. So y'all see that is Travis's chat bomb. Okay, that is called chat bomb with T Perfect. We're gonna be doing this every week. These gentlemen will each have their own segment. So you see what Travis is bringing up for the chat bomb. So Travis, you say you want them to ask you a question in the comments, correct? Every Sunday, correct?
Yes, just guys, you can throw any kind of legit question my way before the link goes out. I will select the best ones, probably 2 best ones, and go for it off the cuff. So it's not like me just sitting here researching your question, and we'll just do it from there.
All right, so
they just literally proved my point. They keep saying Isaiah Thomas beat Jordan in the playoffs. Isaiah Thomas is not a shooting guard.
Well, I mean, you can say
like
that
is. I named the best player on the teams that beat Jordan. They just happen to not be shooting guards. Like, what the hell?
But then we have
the same way he lost to players. He beat players who didn't have shoot. He beat that team best player. He beat Karl Malone. He beat Ewing. He beat Peyton. Although you could say there was a toss up between him and Kim. He beat Magic. He beat Clyde. What about he beat, whether they were shooting guard or a power forward? Y'all take it through the shooting guard issue.
But what about this Zesty Jeffries like this one? See, look, the 2010s is overrated. This is how they talk. He's not done. The league is soft. This league is soft. These are not basketball fans.
Stupid take too. The league, there's no such thing as a soft league. These rules are set by the official. They want to make this league more offensive. I literally just said it. You got to be an offensive player now. It's not that the league is soft. It's just that it's really a defense is not really emphasized. Today, you can literally say offense win games more than defense does. You can literally say that.
In football and basketball.
Well, look, listen, they get to come up here and defend themselves. The link is up in the comment. We got my boy Twin Man in the building, a GOAT James Kingdom member. Shout out to you, brother. What you got for today's show and your take for today? Be careful because Craig is doing checks and balances.
So I look, first things first, great segments. King John, I'm already following that LeBron James history page on Instagram. Great page. But to my take on what Ant-Man was talking about, I don't think he was talking about the entire league. I think it would be ridiculous for anyone to believe he was talking about the entire league. I believe he was talking about at the position Michael Jordan played. Like, were there skilled players at the 2-guard position? Yes. But were they as skilled as Jordan? No. So if you can sit here and you can really just run through an entire league at your position, there's really, I can understand why he felt the way he felt and said what he said. It doesn't make him correct, and it doesn't make him dumb. I just think he has a take that most people are going to agree with if you do the research. They weren't nearly as skilled as Michael Jordan. I'll also say this. I can understand why he would sit here and say what he said, because I agree with what King John said earlier. Who does everyone talk about when they talk about the 90s? Or when they usually talk about basketball? They usually talk about Jordan. So if the only thing you're hearing all the time is Jordan was just the ultimate player, what do you think is going to be said? Like, we have to stop pretending like I believe he had a very biased take, and that's due to the propaganda that has been pushed for the last 30 years. So again, there's a lot of, I think, goes into that. Do I 100% agree with what Anthony Edwards said? No, of course not. I understand the game is drastically different. Back then, it was more position play. You usually had your offensive player. You had your two-way player. You're gonna have your big man. Everyone had their role to play. You're in a league now of positionless basketball. So that's why I can understand why he feels like in today's NBA, you have to come in the league balling. You have to be skilled, because 1 through 5 is skilled now. You're not just gonna have somebody sitting in the paint, just sitting there waiting for a rebound or just defending the basket. It's not like that anymore. So I understand what he's saying. I just think he didn't say it very artfully.
Did you hear what he said? Did you hear the actual quote, or did you just read it?
I read it and I heard it.
Okay. You gotta send me the link if you can, brother. I would love to see what he said when he said.
Literally, just picture his voice reading what you said. They literally did that. They didn't even show.
I don't have that man's voice in my head, Craig. Go ahead, John. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Twin Man, I just want to tell you, I agree with every word you said on Friday night show. I got the angle you was coming from, and even though that Johnny didn't agree with you, I understood where you was coming from, Twin Man. I just wanted you. I put it in the chat. And you didn't see it, but I want you to know I totally agree with what you said Friday.
You talking about my last comment?
Yeah, about how they pushed Jordan. Nike it was a different push. The push wasn't just from Nike; it was for the NBA as well. It was the original push. So I got what you was trying to say.
No, let's get ready. Yeah, thank you, John. You don't get no flowers though. You don't get no flowers here, Twin Man. You gotta create content to get flowers from John. So, Ruddy Hood Sports, let's give him his super chat. Thank you for supporting again. He said today's players would cook 20 years ago. Let's keep it 100. I agree. 20 years ago is not good enough to stop today's players. So let's get.
Would they be trained under today's? This is why I hate when y'all say stuff like that. They would not be trained shooting threes and doing all this they're doing now. They would be trained under how the game was played in the 2000s.
Well, I mean come on.
Like, people say something like that. You can't say 20 years ago the PlayStation 5 was smoked the Super Nintendo when they wasn't thinking of a PlayStation 5 in fucking 1992.
They were thinking about it, they just couldn't do it. Just like now. I'm at 43. I be thinking about Duncan, but I can't do that no more.
Yeah, but Sony wanted to be a preference for Nintendo. They didn't think they was gonna have a PlayStation 5.
You're not playing 8-bit NES and thinking about like the PlayStation or Xbox 360.
Oh, you played the game and said, "Oh, I wish I can do this. I wish they showed this. I wish the graphics were better this way." Come on now. We've done that before.
Okay, so I wish the ref let me carry the ball. I wish the ref actually get 2 steps behind the 3-point line.
Hold on, Craig.
I wish the ref stop calling fouls. I wish the
hold on, Craig. What you said earlier though actually applies. I do agree with you. If those players 20 years ago came today, they would have to actually learn the skill set of actually being able to get their shot, create their own shot. They create way more in today's NBA than they did back then. Again, because everyone had their role. But
they literally said
not really. Listen. Hold on. We saw players in the 2000s and the 90s being able to create their own shot. Tim Hardaway could create his own shot,
but not as many
Michael
as
Jordan
today.
Could create his own shot.
Exactly.
So you had players back then that could create their own shot. It's just everybody in today's league can create their own shot.
Because back then, when you could create your own shot, you were special because the rules. You had to be special to be able to create your own shot back. Today, that's just like having a pair of sneakers on because of the rules.
But Craig, everybody back in the 90s couldn't create their own shot. That wasn't their skill set. That's what Ant's saying.
It's not because of the rules, man. It's the mentality. The mentality of the culture of basketball has changed drastically. It's
it's analytical. They say take more threes.
You know what? You right about that, Ishmael. Let's let KG explain it a little bit better because he was talking about it when he was having the discussion with Paul Pierce, and we're gonna let Ace 30 in right after this. Let's let KG explain how it was a different mentality. It was a different league, not just as far as the rules, but just the way the players saw one another and the idea of how you were supposed to play the game back then.
If I'm being honest, bro, I don't think anybody in this generation could have played like 20 years ago. If I'm being 100, and this is to everybody in our league, Tatum, all y'all. Let me tell y'all something, bro. 20 years ago, bro, you couldn't get to a triple step back.
Nah.
You hear what I'm saying to you? You couldn't get to a triple step back, and then if you shot that shit, it had to go in. You know why? Because we had efficiency back in the day, my dude, and it was so fucking hard. It was too physical. And guess what? The league had to come off of it for the flow of movement to be able to have scoring go up, which is why we like to sit here and watch kind of the rat race of the high-paced game, right? But, bro, let's not talk about the gamemanship, and let's not talk about the physicality of the game back then. Real shit, because I only think half these kids in the league could have been on an NBA team 20 years ago.
Straight up.
The locker room was too too grown.
So that's what Ishmael kind of hinted to, is a different aura or a different mentality from the players. They were more grown. It was a different league. You had to earn your stripes. You couldn't just be out here jacking up shots. But let's let Ace 30 get his take in. Shout out to Ace 30. Peace to you, brother. Go ahead and plug in your channel. Your show as well. What's good, brother? What you got for us today?
Hey, salute everybody. Typical news as possible. Y'all touched on top 5 point guards, got to get that out the rip. But unlike Ant, I'm not saying it from a perspective of ignorance. And that's my biggest opinion on Ant's comments or anyone's comments. To be honest with you, I don't know why in basketball discourse like it's okay to be ignorant and yet have a loud opinion and expect to be consistent with that. When reality, just stop being lazy, just do your homework before you give an opinion on something. So that's why I think of Ant's comments. It's just he admitted to it. I didn't watch it. I didn't go back and study it. It just, from my perception, Jordan was like the only skilled guy up until Kobe. So it's just like anything in life. I'm not going to take anyone's opinion of someone who's ignorant of it. It's that simple. And second thing too, I don't think I agree 100% with what Craig was saying, bro. Like it's great to be great in any area. You need a certain mentality. That's to be great in any field. You need good work ethic. That's kind of redundant to say, but the rules and the coaching philosophies of the era dictate how much flexibility and showcase a player can display of their talents can be. For example, a guy like Greg Popovich, he let Wemby play 3 different positions this year. He let him essentially do what he wanted this year because he allowed that, and also the rules allowed that too. You have a guy like Rod Strickland, who anyone know anything about the history of the game, has one of the greatest handles in the history of basketball, but have multiple stories of every time he'll try to do some of those moves, either the rules will he'll get a violation, or the coach would threaten to bench him to prevent him from doing so. So I 100% agree with Craig. It's not like, yes, there's a natural evolution to the game, obviously, but depending on the era and depending on the philosophy of coaching of that era will dictate how much truly you can display your talent and abilities. It don't make any player less or wrong. You just have to evaluate that player relative to that era. So I'm not, unlike most people in basketball discourse, I'm not going to disrespect any era simply because the value and the demand of a certain skill that was asked upon of that day is not going to be exactly apples to apples of each era, because the simple fact that each era has its own strengths and weaknesses, and each era has their own philosophy and way of coaching set of rules. And that is what determines how much skill you can display. That's honestly, and what Craig is saying was not an opinion. That's kind of straight facts. Like these players,
checks and balances, nipples.
It's just, it is not like It's not like, well, yeah, people disagree with facts all the time, but that's what it is. All I said was Ishmael. All I said Ishmael, and had an ignorant statement, which he literally admitted to. That is a fact. And I did say errors in rules and players' abilities to display their talent is primarily predicated off the
Well, let me change.
philosophy
I agree
of the
to a certain
coaching
extent.
and the
So
rules.
I don't mean I agree
That's
to a
not an
certain
opinion.
extent.
That's just fact.
No,
Go
ahead, Ishmael. Go ahead, Ishmael. Go ahead, Ishmael.
What I mean is, I agree to a certain extent because I just don't think that when you say the rules, it's like implying like that make it the huge difference in skill. When I meant by mentality, it's just that, and some things I'm saying could be from a place of ignorance, but I'm going based off my okay, hold on, Travis. I'm going based off my observation. And so I just think that the mentality and the culture of basketball has changed drastically from my observation, and I could be wrong, but has changed drastically since like that time, the 80s and 90s, through how children have grown up and they practice. Like, it's a thing now that it's basically because they have practiced more, their skills more than that era. Like, it was known like only a handful of guys that really practice 7-8 hours a day. Today, like, basketball players through AAU, the summer, they're practicing all day, every day. Like, they're playing through different teams, they're traveling, they're playing through different competition, they're experiencing these things, and you guys are not understanding like the mentality
That's
of
why they
practice.
can't play 82 games.
Hold on for a second. No, I'm gonna add to that. I'm gonna tell you why.
It's grueling. It's a grueling NBA season.
It's since they're playing since like kindergarten or third grade, the hardware that they have dealt with in order to translate that to the NBA. That's why they're injured a lot, is because of that hardware. And the mentality is that they're more skilled is because they practiced more than guys back then. They're not having hangovers the night before and all that other stuff, or they're not having an off season like they did back then. They're like practicing.
They're
a
not
lot
on that
more.
beer and butter and
It's
Newport 100 special.
Like I agree with Sturdy on some things, but I'm just saying like it's the mentality of basketball.
Yeah, they do. They do. I just saw footage of Kevin Durant, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Green. These guys be in the gym balling at night in, night out.
Bro, like it's not like back in the day, dude. Like
it's not.
Like back in the day, and I'm saying this.
No, he's right. No. Oh wait, Ishmael is right, because back in the day, they would actually, not even get surgery done during the off season so that they can go enjoy their off season and get surgery done before the season starts. So that they can chill. So that's months. That's months of doing nothing basically. Oh wait, but before you do that though, Sturdy. Before you do that, Sturdy, are you done, Ishmael?
I just want to say a little bit. I just think that from my observation of it all, it's just like the mentality and the grind in order to get to be a professional basketball player or a college basketball player is just completely different in terms of practicing and work ethic. That's why a lot of these guys are injured today, is because they have more experience with hardware, and that like this thing is an actual fact. That's why a lot of these guys are injured today, is because not only like the game has spread out to the floor where you got to chase, catch, and shoot guys, but also because of like the fact that the mentality of practicing and the wear and tear is more difficult for players today. So that's what I was saying.
Listen, I'm not lying. Hold on, H30. I'm not lying. You guys don't know the history. Shaquille O'Neal did the same thing. Why you think Kobe was mad at Shaq? Because Shaq decided to take surgery late and not do it during the summer.
2000s or the 90s, we discussed it.
It doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. But that's what we're trying to say. That what he's saying is that during Jordan's era, and that's what everybody's saying. Gilbert Arenas, Paul Pierce, they're all saying. We're not talking about the 2000s. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the 1900s. And then in the Shaq is from the 1900s. Shaq is coming from that era. Shaq is coming from that era.
Hey, Johnny. Well,
you can't say Shaq as an example because he was drafted in the 90s of something he did in 2000s.
No. I'm not saying something. I'm calling out the Zesty Jeffries in the comments who be sitting there saying that I be lying. Because they safe in the comments. They won't come up on the show and have a conversation. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking to the ones in the comments who said that it was a lie. That Scottie Pippen and Shaq were not the only players to do that in that era.
That was doing that.
Exactly. They wanted to enjoy their off season because they were not working out 24/7.
They enjoy their off season doing this.
No, they don't. 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 They ball out 365. These guys are playing 360. The only guys who don't do it now is Anthony Davis, who takes 3 months off. That's why his jump shot be off. But go ahead, Sturdy. Go ahead. Hold on. Let's let Sturdy finish up right quick, and we can get back. Go ahead, Sturdy.
Well, two things. One, I don't think, like, for some reason, basketball discourse, both sides, I literally just heard you and Craig say it. Y'all try to generalize off just one specific situation of a player, when in reality, that's not accurate. It's just not accurate. To say
what generalization? What's the generalization?
I'm about to say it. Craig just said these guys don't play 82 games. That's a generalization. And you said these guys were drinking beer all season and decided to not continue to work out during the all season, prefer to take surgery instead of continue their workouts.
That's what they did in the 90s and the 80s. Yes, sir. They took the summers off.
Well, here's the thing. Not
or work, or had to go work in the summer because they didn't have enough money to be to live. Those were the options that those guys had.
But we do. Once again, we do know these players have been compensated for a decent way of living since the 60s in terms of just their salaries alone. The problem was just the different unions and other benefits that came with that and rights that came with that. Number two, we do know and heard of stories of multiple all-season pickup games from these legendary players spanning from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
He said pickup games. He said pickup games.
Hold on.
That's
Hey, Johnny, that's what you referred to. Hold on.
No, that's not what we referred to, Sturdy. No, that's not what we referred to. Working on your skill. No. Not cut you off. No, because now you're saying something that we did not say. Sturdy, you're saying something we didn't say that. But I can't let you. Sturdy, I can't let you finish because you'll go forever. That's not what we're saying. People like Tracy McGrady said it. They ain't doing no pickup games. I'm working on my game. I'm working on my game every day, 6-7 hours a day. Right. That's not what they were doing in the 90s and the 80s. That's what Ishmael is talking about.
Wasn't McGrady?
Yeah, I'm saying, Let me. I'm saying.
No. Let him finish. Now you can finish because I got to make sure I get that out because you guys can't just be saying stuff that people is not talking about. Because Sturdy, you like to do this. You make it seem like it's all of us. If you are not disrespecting today's era like the Zesty Jeffries in the comments calling this off, you don't have Anthony Edwards telling you how horrible Walter Davis is and how horrible Rolando Blackman was and how those guys were drug addicts. But he did say that. He said they were not skilled like Jordan. Meaning they didn't have the skills. We're watching Walter Davis.
Out it comes to Davis. Davis against Ellis. Davis, the three-pointer. Good! The game is tied! Oh, brother! A beautiful straightaway shot by Davis.
Westfall or for Walter Davis breaking into the lane.
Here is Adams. Time running out. Davis to the jump shot. Tie! At 4 seconds. 10. Now he starts. Here's Davis out at 8. Davis going one-on-one now. High arch again. 8 seconds left on the game clock.
Now the net. Nat averaging 20 points a game. Boozy towards it, tried to stop him. Quick release. Boozy heads up play. That's 2 great passes on that fast break.
8 points for the second year man from North Carolina, and here he comes again. Walter Davis is a one-man show.
Bruh, did you see him try to do a layup on a fast break? Dude, does that man look like somebody that works out 6 or 7 hours a day for $365 a year? No way. He does not have the abilities of today's players. These guys today are working out 20. They are playing every day, bro. These guys are working on their skill. Go ahead, Sturdy. Go ahead.
Okay, so one, you can put up a still image of what Ant literally said. He didn't say all those guys were unskilled. He literally said I did not watch it, but it appeared to me that Jordan was the only guy with skill. Like I said in my first beginning statement, it was out of ignorance, so why would I take that serious? Second thing is, too, KG was not referring to the 1900s. He literally said 20 years ago. That's early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with Ishmael when he responded to only a part of my statement in regards to it's more than just the rules And I do agree to the point, like it is a different mentality because these guys have brands comes to the NBA. These guys have multi-million-dollar corporate deals before they even enter the NBA. So there's a different mindset in terms of business as well as availability resources for individual training. That's
Nope.
100% true.
No.
That's 100% true.
No.
That's not true.
No, this
That's not
you know what?
just
Hold wait.
happening.
Do you know where the 365
Wow.
training comes from? You want to know where that comes from? Do you really want to know?
Well, that's not what I was referring to at all. I was
No, that's what
referring to
we're
Ishmael said,
talking
it was a
about. That's
mentality.
what we're talking about. That's why these
No,
players are
Ishmael
super
said mentality.
skilled.
No,
The
Ishmael
mentality
said
of today's player, whether you're the $1 million athlete that's making all this money, or if you're Thanos Antetokounmpo, you are working out 365 24/7. You have a regiment. You have a complete regiment on your game. You work on your game, and it started with Kobe Bryant. We all started. It all started. Listen, it started with Kobe Bryant. When the 2008 players were watching Kobe Bryant wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning to go work out at 4 o'clock in the morning, none of those superstar $1 million athletes were ever doing it. That when people were finding out what Kobe was doing during the offseason, his regiment, they couldn't believe it. When Caron Butler signed with the Los Angeles Lakers, got traded to the Lakers, Kobe went to him the next day, "You ready for a blackout?" And they went to go work out the next day. Caron Butler said he never worked out a day in his life like that ever again. Kobe told him, "Yo, I'll see you again later today." He was like, "What, we gonna do this again today? Another one?" He was like, "Yes, I'll see you later." Kobe was the first one to do all of that. He and all of the players behind him after LeBron James also started doing the same thing. That's why LeBron is able to last the way he is, because he started following Kobe's regimen. That's why LeBron James is there 2-3 hours before a game. All these kind of crazy stuff that you see LeBron does comes from Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant gave everybody the actual blueprint. He said it himself. Imagine me working out 4 times a day compared to somebody who's doing it once or twice a day or 3 times a day. After 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, how much better am I going to be compared to you? That's why people say Kobe's the most skilled player ever. Because he spent his time in the game. Let's let Ishmael go in. I had to get that out. Go ahead, Ishmael. No. Wait, no, Sturdy. Wait, Sturdy. Just hold on. Just hold on. Let Ishmael go.
Like I didn't get to finish.
I wanted to add, see, that's a good point, because like all that type of mentality and stuff more started also with like I would, from my observation, with the advertisement of Kobe Bryant as well. But the mentality, I think what I'm saying also is like this started through childhood. Like it's just that I just see it that from my observation is that a lot of basketball athletes since their childhood, when you're talking about they're starting at kindergarten generally and they're going up playing AAU and they're playing basketball every single day. And then there's an off season of AAU that they're traveling in the off season in high school basketball, and they're spending like literally 6 to 8 hours a day training all the time. I just don't see that. It's like you don't hear too many stories, like unless it's Michael Jordan. Of course, you had guys that work on their games, but the blueprint.
Not even Jordan.
Yeah, I understand in the 80s there was some stuff about it. But then the blueprint of basketball.
Jordan go play golf 36 holes. He go smoke and play cards. Jordan went to practice. Jordan went to practice, bro.
But my point was, my original point was is that I just don't like when people say things like, "Oh,
but not like today." Not like today.
I say this is because people just say like things like, "Oh, it's because of modern advancements, modern medicine. It's because of the ability to have the coaching allows players." Some of these things have some truth to it, but to me, you're a human being at the end of the day. You're not a robot where the modern advancement is going to give you something and you're like, "Okay, I'm so skilled now." It's more complex than that. And a lot of it mostly starts with the mentality of a player. And since you're a child, nowadays, you have to be able to work on your game 24/7 because everybody is doing that. The blueprint is 3 times a day, right? And like through AAU and all that stuff, it wasn't like that back then. I just don't see it. It was like that in terms of the mentality to work on your skill over and over and over again. Like people don't realize how difficult it is to just get to a Division II school in basketball nowadays. It's extremely hard, and so you can't just say the skills is higher just because of the rules. No, it's because these guys are working on their game a lot more. The mentality to be hungrier is different.
I agreed. I literally agreed upon that.
That's cool.
But like I said, I literally agreed upon that. I'm just following up on that by saying that's not the only variable. It is the coaching philosophy.
I understand.
It is the rules, because the rules will dictate what you're allowed to do. There is some form of innovation, because just like every great player, how can I manipulate the rules in my favor? And just to be accurate, you can find multiple interviews of Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan's trainer of Jordan starting his pre-workouts and off-season workouts before he got eliminated for certain series at 5 a.m. the next morning. They ain't just originate with Kobe. And you're talking about maintaining professionalism. That ain't just start with the 90s either. That started with Wilt. Wilt was the guy saying 365, 24/7. I'm continuing to work out and play other sports to help supplement my game. So no, I'm not just going to just be accurate say that's all the Kobe. I get it. The redemption, the reteaming doc was popular, but no, that's not true to say Kobe Bryant started the quote unquote 365 workout regimen. And I want to end it with this because I don't want to be long-winded. It's just simply this, bro. Craig, like I said, is not the only. Ishmael and Craig are both right. I do disagree from this Ishmael from this standpoint. Mentality of a hard worker isn't conducive to an error. It's not even conducive to the amount of resources you have and your availability. A hard worker is a hard worker. You cannot teach. If a person don't want to be disciplined, if a person don't want to make sacrifice to be great, that's an innate ability. That's not something that's teachable. That's not something due to any error. Will Chamberlain's a hard worker despite being in the 60s. Jordan was a hard worker despite being in the 80s and 90s. Kobe was a hard worker despite being in the 90s and 2000s. It's an innate. If you want to be a great person in any field, you have to make those same sacrifices and be disciplined to do so. It's not just not mentality.
It's so much different than it was back then. I disagree with you on that. But it's so much different. No.
Now backup cameras is mandatory in all vehicles, so everybody's going to be a great backup driver because of these.
Hey, Johnny looking like that because he knows what's up. He know what I'm saying.
No, I'm just listening and waiting because I want all y'all to get y'all. I want all y'all to get y'all takes out because when the exposer starts exposing, I don't want to hear nobody say shit.
What did I say?
That's all I'm saying.
Or narrative?
That Wilt Chamberlain somehow made everybody else be a work hard, which is not what he did. I know you didn't say that, so that means nobody else was doing it. It wasn't a part of the culture. It wasn't a part of the fraternity that KG was talking about.
Right.
Kobe created a new. See, look, there you go. See, there you go. There you go. There you go.
Gotta be careful here, Johnny.
I'm just saying. There you go. There you go. I let you fucking speak, but go ahead. When you done, I will get my take out.
The way I believe in Ace 30 is he picked the perfect player, and when he said Rod Strickland, because he used to get the violation calls because of the palming call. When I was coming up, when I go into college, we used to go before the game started and talk to the refs about how can we dribble the ball so that we wouldn't get the palm carry call. In today's game, Rod Strickland would never be called for palming because they allowed that. So I agree with him with the rules allow certain things today that they didn't allow then. So he picked a perfect player when he said Rod Strickland. That's all I have to say about that.
But at the end of the day, oh no, wait, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Travis.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, okay, Sturdy and Ismail both had great points. Sturdy, where you can't basically say the rules and everything else didn't have anything to do with players' mentality, where they wanted to actually, their drive to practice to refine their game, to become a better player. That is innate. That's something you're born with. That's something you develop. That's like your drive. With it, what Ishmael was saying though is like I think that's because of the demands and the rigidness of the league today, especially with how they're recruiting and scouting. I think the demands are a lot more on these players to have a refined work ethic and skill regimen, things like that when they're coming into the league. I think just because of the way the game has evolved. That doesn't mean that there's some other players, like Sturdy was saying, a lot of them didn't have that back in the day. I just think it's a lot more prevalent today out of necessity. And also, whenever I get a chance, I desperately want to expose again Kobe 8 and 24 because he's just sitting here spamming the code. So I'll do that later.
Before Johnny responds, I just want to clarify. KG was referring to mentality. I watched the entire episode, not just the segment of the video. He was referring to the maturity in the league, the fact that there was lack of vets in the league. Like when he came to the league, every team had one or two guys that been in the league for a decade plus who put them to the side to not just help out their game on the court, but how to be professionals. And we all know the league is intentionally getting younger for a reason. And that's what we were talking about from mentality, from maturity standpoint. That's it.
No, I agree. We talked about the different mentality. Like he said, taking a triple step back three, they would have looked at you like, why are you doing that? Because they don't think nobody can hit that shot. But today, you know these guys can hit that shot. The reason they can hit that shot is because they work on their game day to day. You cannot survive but it doesn't matter. They let them guys travel in the 90s when they didn't let them do it in the 70s and the 60s. Rick Barry and them complained about the same thing. I showed y'all videos about how Wilt Chamberlain said, oh my God, the rules that they changed for the 90s, I would have dominated, scored 70 points per game. Because the rule changes.
And you say he could probably do that. So if the rule changes today.
I didn't say that. I didn't say Wilt Chamberlain can average 70 points per game. I did not say that. I just said he was dominant. But he believes he can because of the rule changes. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
He's a moron for saying that.
Listen, the only rule changes that helps these players different is giving them a gather step. But we all know they call a travel on Dominique Wilkins that wasn't even a travel because he did a Euro step, which is not even a travel.
My point exactly. So if they call it travel while I'm Euro stepping in the 80s, I'm not going to learn to do it repeatedly. If I learn to do it now and they allow me to do it, that's going to be part of my game because it's going to help me.
But that's the point. You have to do it. When Manu Ginobili started doing it,
3 steps and said it's a walk. They have to.
A Euro step is not a travel. It's 2 steps. It just looks different.
In the 80s, they called it a travel though. That's what
but
I'm
it
saying.
wasn't because it was seen different. It's a skill. It was a skill to step one way and then go the other way. That's all a Euro step is. It's a 2-step move. No, but that's what I'm trying to tell you. Dominique Wilkins could do it because Dominique Wilkins had the skill. We're talking about Manu Ginobili. We're talking about the average player doing sham guard moves. Because these guys work on their game. Bruh, we're talking about guys like Jeff Teague. We're talking about guys
exactly.
like
We're not talking about
we're talking about average players. We're talking about
understanding that if I give you a rule that you can't do something, I'm not going to do it.
No, I don't give a damn how much rules or how much freeway you give Jeff Hornacek, Reggie Miller, Hersey Hawkins. None of them could shoot
15 points. 14 of them came in a row. Tyler, left hand dribble against Matthews. Knocks it down.
Beautiful control of his body there. Able to get Matthews on his right hip, put the brakes on, and was able to go right to that mid-range jump and still be a threat on the offensive end, even though he's taking a pounding trying to guard bigger guys night in, night out.
Can you believe this man, Tyler Hero, with another triple?
I can't quite figure out where he's more comfortable yet, inside or maybe outside looking to shoot those jump shots. Got to see him play a little bit more. What a talent.
Max Strus gets his own miss back, finds Hero, a corner 3, kaboom. Feed that man the ball. Tyler Hero, 25 first half point. Here's Jim with a right-hand dribble into the paint. Now Max flipping it back to Hero. Here it comes. Kaboom. You almost expect them to go in now. 28 points for Hero. Shoots his pass, deflected, gets it back. Hero from deep. Kaboom.
Woo, are you kidding me with that range?
And there's other stuff that he can do.
And I'm going to use your logic. How many points he got career-wise and how many points Reggie Miller-wise?
Don't do that. No, that's not what we're talking about, bro. We're not talking about...
And okay, see, now I'm glad that you said that. I'm glad that you said that. No, I'm glad that you said that because here in GOAT James Kingdom, like we always tell you, it is about your production. That's how great you are based on your production. And if you want to talk about who's better because of skill, it ain't going to be nobody from the 1900s. Because just like on Gilbert Arenas, let me tell you something. Someone like a Rashard McCants didn't make it because he came in an era where dudes were balling day in and day out. He was more worried about snow bunnies than he was more worried about hitting a damn floater bunny in the paint. That's why Rashard McCants couldn't make it in the league. That's why people like Nick Young couldn't make it in the league. They were more worried about living their life, not being in the gym 24/7 while everybody's going past them. Guys like Trae Young and all these guys are coming in the league. They work all the time. They work hard in their game. You're not going to survive in today's NBA. Right now, Tyler Hero's working hard on his game. Right now, there's people thinking he's on steroids. You should go look at how Tyler Hero looks right now. Bam Adebayo. So many players work on their game day in, day out. Banchero, all these young players. Kuminga, Weissman, these guys are not sitting around here not working on their game. They're working on their game 24/7. They're in the gym doing 2 or 3 workout sessions each day because that's the only way to stay in the league. I agree with Sturdy. There is no veterans in the league. Somehow the NBA has basically just weeded them out. Like they're not necessary. They really are necessary because you wouldn't have the troubles of a Ja Morant. So there are some things that I do agree on that aspect, but that has nothing to do with skill. That's being a professional basketball player. But you can't ask a 19, 20-year-old who's a millionaire, who has everybody at their attention, where all they got to do is type one thing on their phone, and they're going to get hundreds of comments saying, you're the man, you're dope, I love you, keep doing what you're doing. It's hard to get to that kid's head. And I agree with you, but those guys work out. They know that they have to work on their game year in, year out, every day. That is a necessary to be an NBA player today.
Right.
That's why everybody is so super skilled.
It's a
necessary. I'm not going. We can't disrespect Rashard McCants and Nick Young because that's not the reasons why they NBA career went that way.
Trust me, that's why. That's why.
It was injuries and reputation.
Yeah, injuries because they didn't work out and take care of their bodies. They were out busy running around with snow bunnies. That's what they were doing. That's what they were doing. That's what they were doing. That's what they were doing.
Why? I don't get why. Why basketball discourse like disrespect has to be granted.
Why is it disrespect to prove the point that those guys just didn't work hard as the other players in their era? That's all it is. It's not disrespect. Listen. They earn the right to be the men that they are. Right. Nobody's saying that they're bad men. Right. They're still human beings. Right. They live their life. They've earned the right. They went to college. They got drafted. They had a nice, decent career. But they could have had better careers. We heard Pat Beverly say you quit in a workout. Mm-hmm. He quit in a workout against Pat Beverly. Why you think Pat Beverly lasted whatever? Because Pat Beverly works on his game 24/7.
No, why did McCants say he quit?
Because he quote unquote he claimed he was injured. Quote unquote he claimed he was injured.
He said he was injured, and
that's what he says. And we know he says a lot of lies.
He said the spot was already promised to him. Well, the reason why McCants got out of the league because his reputation is injury.
That's not the point, though, bro. Like, I understand all that.
He doesn't work on his game, bro. He don't work on his game, bro.
Whether Ajani is wrong about the situation about McCants or not, the point is that you have to work on your game. Like, my thing is that a lot of basketball fans, if you're not really in the loop of basketball, like AAU, how a lot of these, guys are growing up and whatnot, if you don't understand, like, most people just think that because of Stephen Curry, all kids want to do is just work on their three-pointers. They have no idea what it takes in order to even get to the Division II level of college basketball. They have no understanding. Yes, Travis, it's way more competitive than people think. You know how many guys do I know who go to Chico and all that other Chico State?
Are you in Division II?
Cal State, LA, and all this other stuff that had the possibility of playing Division I and better than Division I guys? A lot of times it's a mere fact of lack of opportunity, but they're so skilled they can compete with guys that are from Division I and stuff today. Like I'm saying, like the mentality of there's a blueprint of basketball nowadays, and you have to be able to be in the loop in order to work on your game constantly all throughout the year. And because of this is the reason why so many guys are more injured, because the wear and tear is they deal with more wear and tear since the age of 9 all the way to 20, and they're more injured because they don't get the rest. They develop more hardship. So that's what I'm saying. It's like the mentality of working on your game is just like when people just say all kids want to do is work on their threes, the rules benefit them, the league is soft, they don't want to play no defense. That's the lack of understanding of what they do to develop their game.
That's actually a great point.
What about the
My
coaching
thing is,
philosophy?
I hate
Wait,
that.
Travis,
I
you
hate
said
that
that's
this
great.
era.
You agree with me? Thank
Hold
you. I
on,
appreciate
hold
it.
on.
I hate that this era is soft crap. I hate that shit. Or they don't play
But
any
I was
defense.
just saying that's what
they
people
did in the
say, man. They
90s,
don't
what they did in
understand.
the 80s, and what they did in the 90s was not defense. They were not playing inside the rules. Clotheslining someone out of the air, bumping someone when they're going up for shots, punching motherfuckers in the stomach when they were shooting
They
jump
wasn't
shots.
doing that neither.
that.
They wasn't doing that. Wait a minute. They were not doing that. What doing what? Where were they doing that at? Let's look at
Mars
Joe
looking
Dumars.
for Bedford. Takes the shot from the corner. It's tied at 6.
They wasn't punching nobody. Look, where's the hand checking? Where's the hand checking at? Where? Where is this tough defense?
Definitely something.
Look at this. Look at this.
And Moses up front with Battle and Doc Rivers in the backcourt for Atlanta.
Look at this. Look, where's the holding? Where's the punching? Where's the clotheslining? Where's the? Look at this. Look how far back he's playing the man. Look at that shit.
10 minutes before this.
That man was playing him 5-6 feet from a 20-foot jumper. You cannot You cannot do that. Wait. No. You cannot do that against Malik Monk.
Minnesota team 42-17, 22-6 in this building. One of their home losses came from these Sacramento Kings as Malik Monk back to an 8-point game. Kings' largest lead was 14 in that first quarter. Monk, he had Mike Conley draped all on him, but he played him like a fiddle for the second straight game. Here's Malik.
That's a foul right there.
Yeah, Edwards got a piece of him. Davion, though, is having himself a night. He's got 9 points. Shot clock is off. 5 on the clock. Monk throws it out. HB falling, firing, hitting. HB.
He's just great at attacking you after offensive rebounds, and that was a long bounce on that missed 3.
We'll see if Malik can get going.
You see what happens when they decide to leave him 28 feet? You see what happens when they decide to leave him 20 feet? They was playing defense. They were all on top of him. There was not a play there where there wasn't a defender on top of him. Even when he didn't have the ball. They played defense in today's NBA. They didn't play defense back then.
I didn't say they didn't, but listen to what I'm talking about. The egregiously hard fouls, and not all the time, but
that shit was because they couldn't play defense. That's because now when you got to the rim, I gotta listen. They only fouled you when you went to the rim. Majority of those guys could not dribble good enough to get to the rim. That's why it was a problem for Mike. Mike was one of the only rare ones that could dribble past somebody and get to the rim. That's why they used to foul him. It wasn't you. Most of those guys were taking jump shots outside of the paint because they couldn't dribble the basketball. They were running around screens because they couldn't dribble past the man. They didn't have enough skills for that. You saw Malik Monk having there is even a new term called putting somebody in jail. That's how much the defender's on you that you put them on your backside and hold them there so that you can control the pace and everything of a game. They were not doing that back then. Those guys did not have the skill level of doing that. They used to turn their back. They used to turn their back so that they can dribble like this just so that you can see me. Come on, bro. Like, we got to stop it, bro. It's not disrespect. It's called real basketball observation. They were still great, but they were only great for the 1900s. We got to stop comparing eras because you cannot compare the 1900s to today. It's not going to work because I'm going to bring up Malik Monk, Tyler Hero, dudes like this that's going to make all those other dudes look horrible. Yeah, because I'm a real basketball fan. Y'all are real fans, bro. Y'all cannot say this shit, bro. Like, y'all got to stop it. It's not disrespect. Those guys were just not as skilled. That's
Johnny,
it.
that's the worst take you ever had.
I wanted to say, see, because I keep bringing up like high school and middle school and children and stuff because it's so much different. Like back in the day, from what I understand, like more athletes used to play multiple sports, bro, and that takes away the time from you to work on your game. Like today, they only focus on basketball. See, like I played like 4 sports when I was in high school, dude, and so it's like, and if you're talking about a basketball, like that's why you're a hooper. See, I was a basketball player. I wasn't a hooper. A hooper is someone you only play basketball. That's all you do. That's all you work on. Back in the 70s and 80s and stuff like that, guys in high school was playing baseball, was playing football, was playing basketball. They was playing multiple sports. You weren't working on your game all day like that. And that's why today it's just like, that's why I'm saying the culture is different. They play one sport and they only see one way out. And That's my take on it. It's just a culture
Is Kobe coming in here, or is he gonna keep ducking like a fucking pussy?
Yeah.
Listen, I would love to get some former players up here to have a conversation with, but obviously we're just GOAT James Kingdom. We're just a bunch of dudes who talk the game of basketball. I don't know no former players, nor do I have a plug to a former player.
Give me a minute to actually expose this guy real fast.
Who you wanted to expose? Go ahead and get
Kobe.
go ahead.
Kobe, if you come up here, this is gonna be like the first time for everything because I don't think you have the stones to do it. You're saying you keep spamming in the comments that Kobe was a better player than LeBron James because he won the title in 09 and 10. That is the worst take of all time. LeBron destroyed him in every metric you wanted, like just base stats, had more points or more rebounds and assists, better efficiency, more steals, more blocks, and he had again a better team record. Okay, and he destroyed Kobe in PER, box plus minus, all the relevant stats that we actually use to measure what your team impact was on the game. He obliterated. Kobe's never finished top 5 in any advanced metric other than VORP, and that was in 2006. Like, you are a complete casual. You have no idea how to talk the game. You just spam the same, two things, as we've seen here. And, I love Kobe, but you overrate him to the point where you are at, you're being unobjective, and, to the point where you just want to give LeBron James, his proper flowers. And, that makes you a casual. That makes you a Kobe slurper. And also, it's worse because you don't actually know basketball. You're just garbage. You have no IQ to the game. You just know what ESPN has told you. And I have no doubt that you're not going to come on here and argue because you can't. You would get cooked, roasted, and embarrassed. Not only by me, but by everyone else on here because, again, you don't know the game. Just give it up.
So, Travis.
Just give it up.
Travis,
just give it up. Just give it up.
He said, how a Kobe fan got LeBron James above Kobe? Easy. You can use your eyes, and you can use all the measurable metrics to put LeBron James over Kobe. That's how I'll answer your question, Jim Brown. It's not because I like Patrick Ewing is my favorite player. Real quick, Travis. Patrick Ewing is my all-time favorite player. I would never sit here and say Patrick Ewing is better than LeBron James or Kobe Bryant because that would be dumb.
LeBron, I have a number 2. Kobe, I have a number 9. The difference is at least but it's a mountainous gap, mountainous gap.
Listen.
Can I ask Ishmael a quick question?
Go ahead.
So Ishmael, how much is all that training relegated to a coaching philosophy?
You got unmute yourself.
I was muted. Yeah, I agree with you on some of that. I never disagree. I just said to a certain extent. I just think some people they try to make it seem like because the game allows you the freedom to do those things. They rely on that so heavily, and they make it seem as if though it's because the culture itself is different. So that is also part of the culture too, allowing a guy that's 6'9" instead of playing down on the post. He can also be on the wing and be able to create his own shots instead of just being a post player. So I do agree with you on some of that. I was just trying
The reason why I asked that question because I just recently listened to an interview between Steve Nash and Dan Toney, the era in which KG was referring to when he said players can't play 20 years ago. He was referring to 2004. Even Steve Nash and Dan Toney admitted that we played that way, which was advanced for his time, and that wasn't enough to win. We actually should have played more to this era. I should have asked you to score more. I should have asked you to shoot more threes for the team.
Yeah,
that's coaching philosophy. How many other players that we heard too that they constantly tell us stories of I could have looked like this, but the coach wanted to run a certain system. He wanted to relegate certain guys certain roles. That honestly, since we want to go back to 1900 so much, that's actually what made the Bulls so great as a dynasty. You had a guy like Phil Jackson, Tex Winters, and Gary Krause to have the foresight to be like, we don't have to be as traditional, quote unquote, as the remainder of the league. We can come up with an offensive philosophy to keep everyone involved. We come up with a defensive philosophy that's not relying upon the defensive anchors and man to paint. These are all that, and that's another variable too, is innovation. Innovation can't be taught. Innovation is unique. It's a unique perspective of great players on how they can manipulate the rules in their favor. And I think, and that's the biggest thing. And this is a common thing between both generations, old and new. when they disrespect other areas of the game, they try to take away that element of what make players great.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on that one. I'm just saying that I think that the most important factor is the culture, the mentality of how a lot of basketball athletes are raised into the sport. It's just widely different, and they have to put their work ethic more or twice as more than the eras that were previously due to
Yeah,
the
because you get
competition
paid
and
more as a
the
role player today. So
it's not. It's not even the money. Craig. I even gave the example of Division II basketball. So it's like it's not just.
But even
It's not even just the NBA.
Even what's it called said it though. Tyrese Maxey stated too that because of all the different lineup changes that they had throughout the years, and obviously the different coaches that they've had recently in Philadelphia, that coming in from season to season, he rarely knows what his role is going to be. So he has to. It's hard for him to figure out what he has to work on. Right, because he obviously, if he's going to be more of a ball facilitator, there's other things he has to work on. But if he's going to be more of a scorer, there's other things. But he said it. I just basically work on everything. I work on everything. Exactly, I work on everything because I just don't know. I got to be prepared, which we can see the development of his skills.
Use everything. You're gonna use.
That's what I'm saying. But you can see the development of his skills throughout the years and how much better Tyrese Maxey has gotten, and it's due to the fact that he just didn't sit there and listen to the coaches who might have told him, well, you just need to work on this because we're going to have James Harden this year. Or, well, you need to work on this because we're going to bring in Ben Simmons this year. Or whatever they're doing in Philadelphia like this year. And now they brought in Paul George. You see what I'm saying? So now, is he still going to have the same role he had last year? He doesn't know that. And I agree with that. That certain things does mess with a player, but that's what changed with the Kobe mentality, the Mamba mentality. The idea is that it doesn't matter what it is. You got. I'm telling you, it is because of Kobe. Kobe was ahead of his time. And Kobe did it for that purpose. Because Kobe saw that. Kobe saw what you remember when Kobe joined the Lakers, they had nothing but veterans. They had the Ron Harpers. They had the J.R. Writers. They had the Samaki Walkers. All these other veterans that were on the team. Horace Grant. So he saw what those guys were doing, and in his mind, well, shit. If that's what they're doing, I'm going to take it a step further. I'm going to work out starting in June. Not in September. Like, I'm going to literally start doing everything then. I'm going to be working out 3-4 times a day. I'm going to try to fit as much workouts as I can every day.
All he did was call Jordan. Jordan told him what to do. That's why he was working out 4 or 5 days.
Johnny, you're absolutely right.
If he would have called Jordan, he would have been playing golf for 4 hours a day and playing poker another 4 hours a day.
But Johnny, you're absolutely right.
Kobe, the Kobe mentality.
Hold on. So, Johnny, you're absolutely right. And I can't believe I'm going to say this, but you're right, Johnny, and also I'm not going to say this, but Brandon Katz actually has a great point too. It's like
not Brandon Katz, no way.
Brandon Katz had a great point where he said hey, this was like teams like that you saw back in the day, like the 96 Sonics, 93 Suns. These teams could shoot the 3 ball. Like, it's not like it was today, where the emphasis is on a certain aspect of the game because it's simply more efficient. Like, your training, your regiment, your drafting, everything goes into the priority of your team's schemes. This is what dictates what kind of player you're going to be. Are you a great two-way player? That's kind of innate. That's like not something you can really teach about skill level. But like what you're going to be doing as a stretch guy, that's actually saying yes. That actually requires a lot more overall skill in today's league than it did 30, 40 years ago, because there was a lot, like I said before, there was a lot of enforcers filling out the roster. There was a lot of guys taking up, providing 6 fouls. Mm-hmm. Today, I think it's a lot deeper than it was. It's a lot more like across the board. But it's like, it's really just depending, the play style is just really dependent on what is better. We didn't see this kind of play until really 2015 to 16 when Curry single-handedly made it that way. Like,
that's not true.
Y'all know when we really started seeing this play? When we started seeing players. When we started seeing players like Kevin Garnett, players like Dirk Nowitzki, players like Rasheed Wallace, players that were now these stretch fours who were stretching the floor. That's what they were doing. They were stretching the floor. They were making it hard for you, because before those guys needed to be closer to the paint. And then what happened was, on top of that, was the athleticism of the league changed. So instead of having great defenders like a Joe Dumars and a Moncrief and these guys who weren't that athletic, you started getting the Tony Allens, the Ron Artest. There were the Tayshaun Prince, the Doug Christies. These guys were not great offensively, but they were very athletic and good on the defensive side, that you had to be very skilled to get your shot off because they could stay with you. So that's how. And then when the league put in the zone defense, it changed everything. So now that means if you can't shoot, it's gonna make it harder for you to score. And it took some years to get to that point.
We saw Steph Curry go from when he started. It stayed actually. The zone defense was in the league in 2004. It stayed to be the lowest scoring era ever up until really 2013-14. Curry started hiking up his percentage and doing it at a unprecedented efficiency. 2015. That's when we saw 2015. We saw 15 to 16 3-pointers per game balloon to 30 and 40 within a span of 5 years.
No, it was. This is what happened. But this is what happened though. You had teams. Go ahead, Twin Man.
I don't think it was like Curry. I'll give you this. Curry revolutionized it, but it was teams for me like the 08 Pistons, not the 08 Celtics. Let me get it right. The 08 Celtics that would like Ajani said, they could stretch the floor out 1 through 4. So yes, you had Kendrick Perkins. Yes, he was there to grab rebounds, but I'm sorry, you had Big Baby who could hit the occasional 3-pointer. You had Tony Allen.
Or go to the corner.
Big Baby could pull up and hit a 3 occasionally, but he wasn't efficient at it. But if you needed him to stretch the floor, that's the point.
D'Antoni's a part of it as well.
It was definitely them D'Antoni.
My only point is that you had, in my opinion, that's where it started. I feel like Curry revolutionized it.
No, the team that actually revolutionized it, the biggest domino to actually cause this, believe it or not, Johnny, it was the Miami Heat of the Heatles. Because the biggest thing when Chris Bosh changed his game from being a face-up post pivot big to a stretch big, that would change the game. If you don't believe me, look at interviews with Frank Vogel, Roy Hibbert, and all those guys of that era that said that will really change the game now. Because now you have Chris Bosh playing at 5. Now Roy, that's the main reason that Pace couldn't get by those guys. Because now Roy Hibbert, David West being taken out the paint. Now you can't deter Wendy and Braun from getting to the paint.
That's too.
I agree with you, Sturdy. No, I agree with you there, Sturdy. No, I agree with you, Sturdy, but it also was a little bit prior to that because that's what made Shaq start to lose his dominance late into the 2000s because now when you do the screen and roll, remember Shaq was saying, why y'all switching? Why y'all put me on the guard? Because if you were not fast enough to get to that pop out big man like a Rasheed Wallace, that's why the Heat had trouble versus Detroit. Because Shaq would try to go guard Rasheed Wallace, and Rasheed Wallace would pop out and he would be wide open. And it was like that with guys like Paul Gasol and Rashard Lewis, even Orlando, because they were one of the first teams to start taking 25 3-points plus per game. But the Spurs used to do it too. They used to take 23 pointers a game in the 2000s, which was a lot of 3-pointers back then. But they played the same way with Tim Duncan, a pop-out guy who could shoot and stretch the floor. But then again, like you said, all these teams you're mentioning, they also had great defenders, right? You had Petrus on Orlando, right? You talking about the Heat, you had LeBron, you had Shane Battier. You had these defenders that were very athletic that made it to where now if you're an offensive guy and you want to get your shot off, you got to have some skills. Like you really have to be able to dribble past somebody. You have to be able to weave in and out of traffic. Now that Phoenix team, what they did was they got ahead of the defense because it was a 7-second offense. So before you can even set up on defense, we're down on the other side of the basketball court and we're scoring. And we have the athleticism with Sean Marion and Stoudemire, who can run the wing, but you have a great point guard and Steve Nash. So that's what you basically have. But we have some new people up here.
Antonio that year, they had that, man.
But they didn't have good enough defense when it gets down. You got to play defense.
He talking about the ejection. Remember Walker checked on Steve Nash, like 6 players. Yeah, 6 players when Sphinx got suspended. Yeah, that was crazy.
That's crazy. We got
King John's take on this.
Hold on, wait. We got some new folks in.
I'm cool.
We gonna let Drew come in right quick. Shout out to you, Drew. Thanks for joining the GOAT James Kingdom platform. What do you got for us?
Y'all gotta show who y'all are. I don't like talking to strangers.
Where's Kobe? Is Kobe still hiding in the comments?
No, he's
I don't
still
even see Kobe's comments. I don't even see Kobe in the comments. All right, listen. Y'all gotta let Drew get his take in. Y'all gotta let Drew get his take. Go ahead, Drew. What you got for us today, sir?
I just want to know where everybody got Kobe ring.
Oh, shots fired. Shots fired.
I got
All right, let's start with you. Oh,
Wait,
wait.
let's go
No, one
by
at
one.
a time, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, guys. Let's go. John, where you got Kobe?
11.
Ooh, shots fired.
Wait.
Travis said John is the King John on the top.
I don't get everybody's answers first, bro.
Yeah. And then we got T Perfect said 9th, right? We already said 9th, right? T Perfect.
Yep.
All right, and Craig.
I got him at the 10th spot.
Ooh, okay, Twin Man.
I'm surprised from Craig. I thought Craig would have higher.
Where you got him, Craig?
I got him at 10th spot.
I'm sorry, Twin Man. Twin Man, where you got him, Twin Man?
I got him 13. I got him 13.
Oh yeah, remember we had that argument with him last week?
Yeah, I remember. Ishmael, where you got Kobe?
6.
Okay, and Sturdy?
8 and 9.
All right, where you have him, Ruddy Hood Sports?
7.
All right, I got Kobe 8th on my list, and Brandon has Kobe 3rd on his list. Go ahead, Jew.
I just feel like that's completely disrespectful to Kobe Bryant. Like me, I got Kobe number 2. I want to know how could y'all have Kobe? How could y'all have Kobe Bryant out of the top 5?
When I can answer that.
Kobe's not better than Tim Duncan.
Let this man talk.
Hold on. How you got Kobe out the top 5?
Let him talk, Twin Man. Wait, relax. Listen, I told y'all when somebody's on the big screen, y'all gotta be quiet. Please let the man speak. Go ahead, brother.
Listen, how can you have Kobe out of your top 5 when every NBA player and all of his peers got him top 3 at least? That don't make no sense. So what y'all telling me is y'all sitting up here listening to Nick Wright and Shannon Sharp and ESPN, or y'all taking their opinions over the players who played against this man.
First off, Drew, not everybody has Kobe in the top 3. Even the players that played against him or with him, there are some players who don't have Kobe in that top 5 category as well. So you're wrong there.
I never heard no player put Kobe outside the top 5.
Yeah, because most Kobe fans don't listen to nobody. So that's
not Kobe
that's
fan.
here or there. If you have Kobe number 2, you're a Kobe fan. There's nobody who could have Kobe. Nobody has Kobe at number 2. That's not a Kobe time.
I mean,
why does another person's opinion dictate your opinion?
You said what?
No, Jew. Why does another person's opinion dictate your opinion? No matter who you are, no matter who these players are, or how great or they made the league or not, it's just human beings with opinions.
So listen, they're not dictating my opinion. I got Kobe number 2 based on my own opinion. But what I'm saying is, how can we just ignore what all these guys are saying about Kobe, the players who played against Kobe and played against a lot of these other people's
opinions. Other people's opinions don't matter. Go ahead, Travis.
Okay, so I have no problem with Kobe being a top 10 player, but here's the thing. Here's how we can ignore their opinions, is because when you look at the actual facts, Kobe's resume by any measurement doesn't crack top 10. He's not, again, there's at least 5 players who have been more dominant analytically than him. They're in my top 5. There's at least 6 or 7 players who have better overall resume than him as far as MVPs, finals MVPs, just like seasonal awards, things like that, bigger impact on their teams. Again, Kobe's never even finished top 5 in a single analytic other than VORP, and I said this earlier.
Okay. So.
Oh, no. Drew. We let you speak. I'm not going to let you cut him off. So, Travis, continue. Go ahead,
If
Travis.
you're talking about just from a resume and statistical standpoint, there's no argument. Here's my top 5, just so you can have a perspective. It's Mike, LeBron, Duncan, Hakeem, and who was it? I think it's Shaq. So, I'm sorry, not Shaq, Kareem. All of them were way better dominant than analytically dominant than Kobe Bryant. They have better overall resumes, and they have far higher team impact if you do it objectively measurably. There's no argument for Kobe Bryant being a top 5 player other than nostalgia and by word of mouth. You can't make it.
Hey, all right, hold on, wait. Before you do that, Mingo Jester, give me a second here. I'll get you up. Well, actually, I actually can't get you up. Give me a second here. Let me get you up here, Mingo Jester. Let's do this here. All right, while I'm doing that, Drew. While I'm doing that, Drew, go ahead and respond, brother. Go ahead.
So all that crap I just heard you say, right?
Mhm.
I haven't heard you mention the eye test not one time. So you telling me you
Hold on, wait, Drew. Before you come up here, but wait, Drew, wait. No, wait, Drew. I get to cut you off. I get to cut you off. Have you ever watched a GOAT James Kingdom show before?
a couple of them, yeah.
And you came up here talking eye test?
Yes, eye test.
What eye test? What are we looking at in your eyes? What does your eye see that we didn't see?
Watching the players play basketball on a basketball.
What did your eyes see that we didn't see?
That's what I'm asking him. I'm asking.
No, because what we saw made him number 9, 8. What did you see to make him number 2?
I saw that he was the second best basketball player I ever saw.
Based on what? Just your eyes? Like what? How?
Yes, based on him playing basketball. Yes.
That makes no sense. That makes no sense at all.
Along with his resume, yes.
What resume is that? What's the resume?
He got 5 championships, do you not?
Okay, he does have 5 championships. There's a lot of other players with 5 championships, but you don't have number 2. Let's continue.
This would don't make sense to me. Like my man's just sitting here talking about all these analytics in this, right? How players are more impactful towards winning.
Yes.
How could that be? How can you say that when my man's got 5 championships?
Because his impact wasn't
because he was carried for 3 of them.
Exactly, because whatever he was doing on the court wasn't the reason why the Lakers were winning 5 championships.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
So explain this to me. So he won 3 with Shaq, right?
Yes.
And everybody said he can't be the man on the championship team, right?
No, everybody said that he couldn't win.
He couldn't win, right? He couldn't
win without Shaq. Yeah, he couldn't win without Shaq.
Okay, so what did he do? He got Shaq off.
He missed the playoffs in his prime. Then he got knocked out of the first.
Hold on.
Yo, wait. You ask the question. I'm gonna answer it. He got knocked out of the first round after not making the playoffs without Shaq. Then he actually choked when he was up 3-1 in the first round when he didn't have Shaq. It wasn't until he went to the Lakers and said that I no longer want to play with this franchise anymore because you're not giving me enough to win, that they decided to trade for Paul Gasol. And by getting Paul Gasol, it changed the dynamics of what the Laker team was, and adding Phil Jackson back to the team to help them. So Kobe is not the reason why the Lakers won championships, although he was very helpful for them winning a championship.
Listen, Kobe got Shaq. They told Kobe he came without Shaq. Mm-hmm. He got Shaq off his team, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Mm-hmm. After Shaq left the team, they went through a rebuilding stage, right?
Why rebuild? You got Kobe. Why are you rebuilding?
Because it wasn't just Shaq that left. Right.
Why did only Shaq didn't leave? Wait. Why did a bunch of players leave? Why nobody wanted to stay and play with Kobe?
That's beside them.
No, that's the question. No, that's the question you gonna answer. Because you said it's Kobe. So Kobe should be able to influence. Kobe should be able to influence the players that help him get to the finals in 2004 outside of Shaq. Since Shaq is not the man, it's Kobe. Where was the players that wanted to play with Kobe?
Listen, bro, we're talking about what was reality.
Your eye test didn't see that part, did it? What did your eye test? What did your eye test tell you about Kobe Bryant in 2005?
The reality is, they went through a rebuild.
What did your eye test tell you about 2005?
Kwame Brown, Chris Middleton, right? Was for 3 years, right? And he dragged them to the playoffs, right or wrong?
No, he dragged them to the playoffs now.
Is that what happened? Impacted winning? Hold on.
What happened when he had the team that Dwayne Wade went to the playoffs with? What happened to the players?
Bush Parker and Kwame Brown. That's not impacting winning.
Again, I'm gonna ask you a question. You're gonna answer my question, Drew. I'm gonna ask you again.
What's your question?
Why didn't Kobe Bryant take the same team that was traded over from the Miami Heat to the playoffs? He got Caron Butler, he had Lamar Odom, he had a couple other players from that Heat team that made the playoffs. Why couldn't Kobe make the playoffs in 2005? Where was your eye test then?
Kobe took a lesser team to the playoffs in 2006.
Shaq's been taking teams to the playoffs since he's been in the league. So we already know that. Shaq took the team to the Eastern Conference Finals without Kobe the next year.
To the Eastern Conference Finals?
The Miami Heat.
No, he didn't.
Is that B-Lee?
He wasn't the best player on that team.
What? In 2005? Shaquille was the best player on the Miami Heat team. Yes, he was.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the championship year. You said the championship
No,
year, right?
I said the next year, while Kobe wasn't making the playoffs with the same Heat roster that was making the playoffs the year before, Shaquille O'Neal went to a team that gutted their roster for him and took him to the Eastern Conference Finals
They
and
still
could have
had
made the
Dwayne
finals.
Wade on there. He still had D-Wade on.
Dwayne Wade was a second-year player. Nobody
And
knew
he
what
was
Dwayne Wade
averaging
was.
26, 27 points a game his second year.
He wasn't averaging. That's what Kobe was averaging, 27 points because he had Shaq. When you have Shaq, you can average 26, 27 points per game.
Bro, come on. You're not finna credit Shaq for why D-Wade.
Oh, I am going to credit Shaq. I'm a Miami Heat fan. I witnessed it. I saw it. My eye test. My eye test saw it. I don't know what you're talking about. My eye test saw it. I was here. I remember Shaquille O'Neal. You're trying to change history. Let's let a real Kobe. There's no facts. You haven't spit not one fact. You haven't.
Matter is this.
Say another motherfucking word and this shit is over. And I ain't playing, nigga. Sit your ass down.
Bruh, you guys have to learn to respect GOAT James Kingdom. We talk basketball. Your eye test doesn't matter. Never worked, never gonna happen here. This is GOAT James Kingdom, my friend. You came here and said that Kobe Bryant is second. That's your personal opinion. You're fine. You're allowed to have such an opinion. But because you have that opinion,
man, sit your dumb ass down.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Mingle Jester, what's good, brother? Unmute yourself, Mingle Jester. Thank you for joining us, brother. Please represent for Kobe Bryant fans better than that. Please, brother, please, because this guy's crazy.
Come on, man. Come on, hey Johnny, you gotta be smarter than that, bro. You know basketball better than that now. Come on, man.
I've been giving Kobe praise all day, Mingle. I've been giving him praise all day.
You know better than that. First of all, in 2005, Kobe got injured. That's number one. We now know Kobe got injured in 2005, and that was part of the reason why they missed the playoffs. We all know this. I guess God didn't know it because he didn't say it, but yes, Kobe got injured in 2005.
He was?
Also,
how many games he missed in 2005? I don't remember.
He missed like what? I don't know, like 17, I think it was.
I think he like
17, 18, something like that.
Yeah, like 20 games. You're right.
20, something like that, yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Continue. Go ahead.
So basically what I'm saying is, when y'all talking about Kobe, and you talking about analytics ain't come to the game until recently. Guys weren't even going by analytics back in the day. Analytics just hit the game, and everybody taking analytics to the next level and think that's the only thing that matters in basketball, which is not. Analytics ain't the only thing that matters in basketball. You do know that, right?
That's Travis's thing. That's Travis's thing.
Yeah, I know it is. I heard him when he said it. What an idiot. Also, basically what I'm saying is, not only do Kobe got the second most all NBA teams and all-star appearances after LeBron James, he also got a lot of other stats that guys don't bring up that guys just fail to just not mention or whatever the case may be. But it is what it is. And then you telling me that team only won because they got Bill Jackson and Pau Gasol. So you telling me that team winning them 2 championships without Kobe Bryant? That's what you basically telling me.
No, I'm saying Kobe Bryant, just like every other player. No, every other player needs a team to win.
I understand that.
That's
you
the
try to
whole.
make
That's
it seem
it.
like the only reason that team won was because Pau Gasol and Phil Jackson.
No, listen. If they don't get Pau Gasol, the Lakers are not a championship contending team.
And I agree with that. But at the same time, though, Kobe was the driving force of that team.
No,
and this, I know this, and everybody else know that.
And what did I say? He went to the Lakers and said, y'all better do something. Because y'all promised me, y'all made me get rid of Shaq. Because if Kobe really wanted to just win, he'd just keep Shaq on the team. They would have won another 2-3 championships. Easily.
Yeah,
but he wanted to be the man, and I agree with you. But that's why he told him in 07, y'all better do something because I'm out here trying my best. I'm working out every day like I've been telling y'all. I got this mentality. I'm ready to do what I got to do. Y'all got to help me. And they got him Paul Gasol. You can't act like getting Paul Gasol for Kwame Brown. It's not like the all-time greatest steal in trade history, bro.
It was, but
Jordan
do you know?
wouldn't have drafted
It was,
Kwame,
but do
that
you
trade
know?
would have never happened. Thank Jordan again for Kobe 2 chips.
It was, but do you know Paul Gasol only made one All-Star team before he got with Kobe Bryant? One.
That's true. But
All-Star
Paul
team before he
Gasol,
got with Kobe Bryant. I'm gonna say that again. He only
I
made
know that.
one All-Star game before he got with Kobe Bryant. One.
Mingo, I got you, but he was also
Just
rookie
one.
of the year.
And he had a Grizzlies team on.
I know, but he was also rookie of the year. He was also averaging 20 and 10. He was a baller. He was really a good player. And it worked well to have him. And mind you, because the Lakers didn't have a good record in 05, they were able to pick up an Andrew Bynum in that draft, right? Which helped them out because Andrew Bynum was a big-time baller during the late 2000s. He was one of the best rebounders and the rim protectors. So the Lakers they had Lamar Odom, who was one of the best multifaceted players. Then they added some good pieces. They brought back Derek Fisher as well, because when Derek Fisher wasn't there, they wasn't making those type of runs. So you gotta agree that they did a good job building a team around Kobe because Kobe's that great. But like what Drew was trying to say, his eye test was basically making it seem like Kobe won a championship without Shaq, and they were making fun of him because of Shaq. No, we all know that Kobe won because he had Shaq.
Yeah,
like we
and
know
Migos
that.
Gesture, like you can't.
We
say
know
that, like,
this.
He wasn't. It's fair to say Kobe was the driving force, but like Johnny said, they basically rebuilt that entire team from like the 04 finals appearance up until like when they made it again in 08. Like you lost like key pieces like Rick Fox, Fisher was gone, he came back. You had like guys like Trevor Ariza there who were key. And like Kobe was good, but Pau Gasol was arguably the best player in the 2010 finals, especially like efficiency wise. Like Kobe was good, but if you replaced him with like LeBron James, they probably sweep every single series they play then, especially from a dominant standpoint. Like Kobe was good, yes, and but they definitely, there was no question they had the best team in 2009 and 10. I mean, but
where
whatever.
was LeBron James in 2009, 2010?
He was winning 63 and 60. He was the best team in the league. That's where he was. He was winning
in the playoffs.
Yeah, he lost to Orlando, and he
was
lost
the
to
best regular season team. Best regular season team.
Yeah. But he didn't have an All
was not the
NBA
reason-
player.
Hold on.
He didn't have an All NBA player like Paul Gasol in 09 and 010.
He lost to Orlando, right?
Yes.
Sure.
Who Kobe beat in 2009?
And he put up better numbers against the
Kobe beat him because Kobe had an All NBA teammate in Paul Gasol. LeBron didn't have that.
Kobe created Pau Gasol into All NBA teammate.
No, see, look, there you go.
Oh my God.
There we go. Hold on, Drew, before we argue with Drew, we all know we got to give everybody a chance to have their speech, and everybody got a chance to talk. Red Hoodie Sports, you got your chance to speak, right? Did Red Hoodie Sports speak yet?
No, he did.
Okay. So, all right. So let's let Red Hoodie Sports get his take in. All right, because we're about to get up out of here very shortly as well, ladies and gentlemen. But let's let Ruddy Hood Sports get in. Thank you, Ruddy Hood Sports, for supporting us. Y'all make sure to subscribe to his channel. What you got on today's topic?
What's good, everybody? Hope everybody on the panel's doing good. What's good, chat? Hope y'all all doing good. So I just want to list something right quick. My top 7, right? I got LeBron, I got MJ, then I got Bill Russell, then I got Magic Johnson, then I got Wilt Chamberlain, then I got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and then I got Kobe Bryant. So there ain't no hate, okay? I don't know a lot of people that even have Kobe in their top 10, okay? But I'm not one of those people. The other thing I was going to say is this, about the subject of the show, right? Kevin Garnett and Magic Johnson, I feel like they were in their feelings, okay? If you want to just keep the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, if you want to keep them in their place and say, it was great, it was wonderful, it was magical, then that's fine. But once you start making comparisons, okay, that's where we have a problem. Kevin Garnett did not do all the ifs, ands, and buts. He talked about the players of today's game, saying that they could not survive 20 years ago. So when you say that, you got to take the players of today's game and everything that comes with them. And I'm talking about like Jokic, right? Three-point shooter, three-point shooting big, basically a point center that can space the floor, along with other bigs like AD, who can space the floor from the mid-range, Joel Embiid, who can space the floor. You have a lot of people today that are just so much more advanced, and it gets crazy because I've never heard this type of conversation when it comes to anything else, when it comes to football, when it comes to boxing, when it comes to technology, when it comes to cars. I've never heard people say, oh, well, the older cars would be better than the newer cars. No, I've never heard that. It's only when it comes to basketball that all of a sudden when the older players, or let me say the newer players, would not be able to survive back then. I'm gonna tell you this: LeBron, Steph, and I said this in my last super chat. LeBron, Steph, KD, they probably win 10 in a row, especially if they on a team together. They probably win 10 in a row in the year 2000. They probably win 10 in a row in the 80s. They probably win 10 in a row in the 90s. This is just how much more the game has advanced, and we cannot punish today's game for being much more advanced. I respect what Ant-Man said, because from Ant-Man's perspective, the 80s, 90s, 2000s, they're kind of mid. And like you guys alluded to earlier, Michael Jordan was being promoted like crazy. So Ant-Man, who probably wasn't alive to see a lot of this happen, a lot of people play, who's he heard? Who has he heard about this whole entire time? What everyone's been pushing, MJ, 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 MJ. And this is the reason why he secluded all these other players and just mentioned MJ. We have to have respect. Now, if we're to have respect for the days of old, then we need to have respect for today's game as well. And it seems like a lot of these older players like Kevin Garnett and some, because I love Magic Johnson, but sometimes Magic Johnson lose respect when they hear an opinion like Ant-Man's. And it's just crazy to me, man. It's nasty work to disrespect the effort and the time and the attention and the dedication that today's players put into the game, how they play in the Drew League, how they play in these different leagues to keep in shape, to stay in shape, is one of the reasons why they might not make a whole 82 games. But either way, we have to respect and put respect on these guys' work ethic. We have to put respect on these guys' careers and respect them as they're trying to build their legacy. But that's all I had to say.
All right, well, shout out to you. That was a good take by you. Now,
In other words, the owners of the team, they got to have a good player to play 50 games or a trash player that play 82 games. So that's all I heard.
No, they just gotta let
you
them.
You heard wrong.
I got to pay him for 82 games, but I'm
No, they just got you playing them players because everybody's making money. The NBA just signed like a 70,
no, I'm
50,
just saying, as
$60
owner,
billion
yeah,
deal.
Money, but I'm
they need to get their money.
All this money, and I know I'm only going to get 60% of them for the season, but I'm paying 100% for them.
No, but listen, I think Magic Johnson has a right to say what he says because you know what? He did make a good point. The kid didn't win a championship in the NBA. He didn't win one in college. And from my understanding, he didn't win one in high school as well. Now, wait. I'm going to let Drew back up shortly, Drew, but I got to let other people in because your eye test is not important enough for us to let you keep disturbing the show. He put somewhere here, let me see what he says. He says, it's in the, let me be, he says, oh my God, I can't see because he's in here just rap. He said something about you guys don't know what you've been watching. That's why you have to use stats. So we can't use stats. We can't use accolades. We can't use nothing basketball related terms. All we can use is your eye test while you yourself can't answer none of the questions to help us understand what your eyes actually saw.
See how he said he respects you see how he say respect Ant-Man's decision, opinion about what's going on. This is my whole point exactly. Like,
I respect it. Yes, I respect it.
No, it's fine. Let's let Blue Boat get in. Shout out to Blue Boat. Blue Boat is in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
He said he never watched basketball and then no players were skilled in the same. You respect.
What's going on? What's salute to the panel and everything, man. You know what I mean? I'm liking the show today, whatever. You know what I mean?
The Lord is talking. The Lord is spoken. Go ahead, Blue Boat. The Lord is talking.
So real quick on a couple things, you know what I mean, especially that last caller with the whole Kobe thing. First off, with the whole era things, right? I kind of get where Ant-Man is coming from, you know what I mean, because, you know, Ant-Man is, how old is Anthony Edwards? He's, 22?
22. Yeah,
that means he was born in 2001, right?
Yeah, he was born after 9/11. Yeah, he was born after 9/11.
Right. So,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's one of them Gen X guys, right? You know, where he didn't see the NBA in the 90s. Gen Z, right. He didn't see the NBA in the 90s. He didn't see the NBA in the 90s when it was like, you know, all he saw was Michael Jordan. He didn't actually see Mike in his prime, but he seen the commercials. He seen the shoes. He saw what an impact Mike had on the game and everything, right? You know what I mean? So he's just going by what era he's seen. Just like a guy, you know, from Magic Johnson and Kevin Garnett's perspective, it's their era You know what I mean? It's like a disrespect. But then again, you can't blame Anthony Edwards for not being in that era. Maybe, like I said, if he had seen the game from that perspective like we did, you know what I mean, then I think his mindset will be different. But from like, 2000, I say about 2011 on, he only seen LeBron, KD, and Steph. He came in the league, just like like when Grant Hill came in the league with Jordan, right? So it's kind of apples and oranges to actually compare eras because it's like everything evolves. Everything evolves. You know what I mean? It's like just like the 60s evolved from the 40s, just like the 90s evolved from the 70s, just like the 2010s evolved from the 80s. Every different aspects of the game evolve where, it's different, you know what I mean, where it's like comparisons, apples and oranges, you know what I mean? So for me, it's like very difficult and very complicated to compare eras, especially, when it's like evolution involved, Now, as far as, what was that one caller name, right? What's dude's name?
Jojo. I'm about to bring him up shortly.
I want to ask this guy, right? I want to ask this guy's top 5 and everything, man. You know what I mean? As far as like Kobe Bryant goes.
All right, so I'm gonna put you down, Ruddy Hood Sports, and then we'll bring back Drew. Drew can answer that question, but go ahead, finish up, Bo, and then we'll let Drew answer that question. Go ahead.
Right. And now I was saying, like, make this short and simple. Like, Kobe was a great player. I got him personally at number 8 all time. He been Larry Bird or Tucker War between 8 and 9. You know what I mean? But when you look at the stats, I know people say stats, even the eye test. The eye test is part of the stats. The stats are the eye test when you think about it. You know what I mean? But there's no comparable measure to make Kobe a top 5 player. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, he was great.
There's one.
There's one. What?
There's totals.
Yeah.
Total points scored, because he's third all time in points scored, and that's how you can put Kobe in the top 5. That's facts.
Even that. That's just one aspect. That's just one aspect of it all. You know what I mean? Because like that's just all the players ahead of him got like 1,000,001 accolades. You know what I mean? And they've done more in their careers. You know what I mean? So it's just like like I said, the 7 players that got ahead of him were more dominant in the game than Kobe Bryant. That's no disrespect. I thought Kobe was probably the best player in the league from like 2006 to probably about like a little after 2009. But that's when like LeBron really started to establish his dominance. You know what I mean? So it's not like we're disrespecting Kobe or diminishing Kobe. No, that's not by any means. You know what I mean? It's just that his dominance wasn't as long as the people I got ahead of him. Overall dominance, when you factor in accolades, stats, championships, MVPs, you know what I mean? All that.
Blue Bolt, that's an amazing take. Amazing take out of you.
What you're talking about? Kobe had, I don't gotta keep picking up Shaq. Kobe has no championships without Derek Fisher. So we gonna stop that right there.
All right, so here we go. So wait a minute. So listen. So now we have. I'm not gonna count Mingo Jackson because Mingo Jackson is a Kobe guy. He admits to being a Kobe guy, which is fine. I'm guessing Drew is also a Kobe guy as well. But we have right here now 18 eyeballs that watch Kobe Bryant play, know Kobe Bryant stats and accolades, and we all have Kobe around 6 to 10. Unless you're a twin man who's bugging, got him at 13. So Drew, are you telling us that your eye test is just that much better than all of us to have Kobe at 2? And can you also give us your top 5, please?
Yes, to me, the eye test is the most important thing, number 1. Analytics, stats, and all that stuff, and accolades, that stuff can be skewed with. That stuff can be like that. Eye test is the thing that you can look at and watch players play basketball and determine who's the better basketball player. So that's the number one important thing for me. Number 2 is winning, right? Winning is the only thing that matters. That's what they play for. They play to win, right? Kobe won 5 championships, right? Kobe had a 10-year, so from like 2000 to 2010, he had 7 finals appearances and 5 championships, right? So 10 years, he was in the finals 7 times. The 3 years he wasn't in the finals, he was on a rebuilding team with Smush Parker and Kwame Brown.
Smush Parker's the GOAT.
I said, who?
Smush Parker, a top 5 player of all time.
Travis be trolling, bro.
Travis, stop doing that.
Kobe.
Travis, you nice. your point, bro.
I thought you was gonna say George.
Devin George.
Let's not forget Shannon Brown now. Don't forget Shannon Brown. Go ahead, Drew. Keep going. Go ahead, Drew.
Travis,
Go ahead, Drew.
Travis threw them off, man.
So I'm gonna give y'all my top 5. I got
Go ahead,
MJ
brother.
1. I got
Kobe's
Kobe
number
2.
2.
I got LeBron 3.
Whoa.
I got Steph 4. I got Magic 5.
Oh my God, he said Steph on
quick
Curry.
question,
Oh my God, he said Steph on Curry.
question.
That's worse than Kobe being number 2. Oh my God, go ahead, Sturdy. Go ahead, Sturdy. Go ahead.
If it's about winning, right, which is the most important thing to you in the eye test, how was Steph Curry above Tim Duncan, who got 5 championships, and from anyone's eye test, he played in the same era as Kobe,
Where's
who was
Bill Russell?
easily a top 10 defender just off eye test alone. But and a two-way player. So how is Curry above Tim Duncan?
I got Curry over Tim Duncan because for one, his eye test is better. He's a better basketball player.
Oh my fucking God!
Wait, Travis.
Y'all gotta let the man speak, man.
Let the man
He
speak, man.
He said we would let him speak. Let the man speak.
He impact winning more than Tim Duncan, right? He
win less championships. Got you.
He's got more championships.
Let this man finish, man.
He changed the NBA, right?
Like Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
Tim Duncan has one more championship, but Tim Duncan has played on a championship team for 20 years of his career, right? Curry played on a championship team.
Yes, you can go after Sturdy. Yes, you can. Yes.
Curry played on a championship level team. What? 8 years. Compared to Tim Duncan's 20 or however long he played.
19.
Right.
19,
so Tim Duncan
20 years.
had 19 opportunities. So
19 playoffs. Go ahead.
19 opportunities to compete for a championship. He won 5. Curry had what? 8 to 10, maybe 8 at the most. To actually compete for a championship, he won 4. Stephen Curry.
Just to clarify. Oh, my fault. Just to clarify, you're saying 19 years Tim Duncan been on a championship team. Just to clarify.
Since he came to the league, since his rookie year, yes.
So 19 years he been on championship league. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. All 19 years. Go ahead.
Go ahead. What's your point?
All right, go ahead.
No,
Are you done, Sturdy?
No, go ahead.
No, are you done? Because I know Twin Man is.
No,
Twin Man is cock and loaded, ready to go. You ready, Twin Man?
Pause. But I give you say.
He said pause. He said pause.
So let me get this right. Let me. I want to make sure I understand. Put me on the big screen, big dog.
Put him on the big screen. Big screen time, ladies and gentlemen. We got a GOAT James Kingdom member, Twin Man. Let him have it, brother. Go ahead.
Hold up. So let me get this right. He said Steph Curry. His eye test tells him Steph Curry's better than Tim Duncan, who was a defensive juggernaut for 10 straight seasons, who never missed the fucking playoffs. Are you serious? You're talking about a Tim Duncan who has a legitimate argument to be the best defender ever. Are you serious? You said Steph Curry's better than that?
Twin Man.
How do you have Steph Curry over Hakeem Olajuwon? How do you have Steph Curry over Shaq? How do you have Steph Curry over Will Chamberlain? If championships is your thing, how the fuck do you have Steph Curry over Bill Russell? Is this serious?
Let me get in here after that, Twin Man. Let me get in here after this.
Talk to him.
Hold on, wait, Twin Man. Twin Man.
Can I
Twin Man. Wait, hold on. No, you're gonna get a chance to respond, Drew. Wait, Twin Man, did Stephen Curry make the playoffs this year?
No.
All right, let's let Blue Boat in. Go ahead, Blue Boat. What you got? Blue Boat? Go ahead.
Hey, check this out. This whole eye test thing, man, that's just a casual cop out, man. Because because it's like the eye test, you can manipulate the eye test with anything. You know what I mean? You can say, oh man, I like this player better than X. Player X is better than player Z because I saw. Right. But thing is though, the stats are the eye test. That's just the eye test. They try to dismiss the stats because the stats hold more weight than the eye test. The eye test can be objective. Like, now I don't like this guy's game. I don't like the way he dribbles. I don't like the way he shoots. I don't like the way he handles. I don't like the way he plays defense. That could be subjective to any kind of measurable thing when you compare something. You know what I mean? But as far as like this whole dude had Steph Curry ahead of guys like Tim Duncan,
a lot of people.
Larry Bird, Hakeem Olajuwon. Come on, man. Like, let's bring Steph Curry into this, right? Steph Curry changed the game from the three-point shot, right? That's what he's known for, right? That's the skill set he's known for. You know what I mean? Even statistically, when you compare his all-around game, he's nowhere near Tim Duncan. He's nowhere near Larry Bird. Those two players right there had an impact offensively, defensively, all around play, facilitating, and lifting their teams to championship success. I mean, Steph did that, but on a lower scale. Proof of that is because he didn't win the Finals MVP until his fourth try. So it's like, come on now, what we doing here? What we doing here, man?
Let's let Drew speak with his eyes. Go ahead, Drew.
Tim Duncan got 5 championships, right? Okay.
He got 5.
Right. What did Tim Duncan average his 5th championship? What was his stats?
Man, he was past his prime. Come on, man. He was more of a team-oriented player.
Just answer the question. He averaged like 15, 16 points. It was like 15, 16 points. Something like that.
Okay, all right. Hold on, bro.
Wait, let's just answer the question. Listen, now, mind you, he told us stats don't matter, but he's asking us about stats.
I didn't say
stats don't
matter.
15 to 6. Yes, he did.
Oh,
wait. No, stop, Sturdy. Listen, I'm letting y'all cook this man, but listen, you did say the stats don't matter. You gave us exactly what it would matter. You said eye test. You said winning. Those were your factors. Now, because we're talking to you about, we left you alone with Kobe Bryant. We left you alone. We said you're a Kobe Bryant fan. We understand why you got Kobe number 2. But now you're gonna get chewed up, spit out, and then we're gonna go ahead and put you back into the plate because Curry's not better than the guys that went. I mean, nowhere near number 4 at all. You're talking about winning. Stephen Curry only won what, between 2015 and 2019 or 2022? So that's what, a 7-8 year span? What about Larry Bird? What about Magic Johnson? Magic Johnson won 5 championships within 9 seasons.
I got Magic 5.
That's what I'm saying. Magic is way much more impactful. Magic was way much more impactful in winning and all of that. Bill Russell won 11 championships in 13 NBA seasons.
He was saying not the eye test.
No, but obviously he never saw Bill Russell play. He never saw Magic play. He never saw Jordan play.
He never let that man respond, man.
That man said he saw Magic play. I heard the man say he watched.
Magic.
How old are you, Drew? How old are you, Drew?
I'm 32.
You did not see Magic play, bro. All right, listen.
I have a quick question for you. Not live.
No more questions. We're done. We're done.
No.
We're done with people.
But I watched plenty of.
We're done with people that were in middle school during 9/11 and they had to stay inside.
Check this out.
Because that's it. We're done with people that they can't have those kind of takes on Go James Kingdom.
One more question.
I watched Magic Johnson. He's 32 years old. No, because everybody got a
question regarding LeBron and Kobe.
No. Let's leave it alone. We already know why he has Kobe in front of LeBron. He doesn't watch the game of basketball.
Or no basketball. I watch basketball, bro.
All he knows. All he knows is Michael Jordan. All he knows is that Michael Jordan. No, there is no hold on. I'm talking. When I am talking.
that old bullshit.
Again, when I'm talking, you shut the fuck up. We know why you got Kobe in front of LeBron James. Because you think Michael Jordan is the GOAT. And the way Michael Jordan plays the game of basketball makes him the GOAT. So there's no way Kobe can't be the second greatest player of all time. Because obviously, he's the closest thing to Michael Jordan. We already know your thought process. But we know you didn't watch Michael Jordan play the game of basketball. We know you didn't watch Magic Johnson. We know you watch more of Kobe Bryant than anybody. I mean, more of LeBron James than anybody else. And at the end of the day, the truth of the matter is that Kobe Bryant is not a top 5 player in NBA history. All of us here are basketball fans. All of us watch the same things that you watch. In fact, most of us here watch more basketball than you did. And the truth of the reality is, if you cannot see the stats, if you cannot see accolades, you cannot see advanced metrics, then you can't see the game of basketball. We can't trust your eye test. And this is why you get put in the dugout. Because none of you guys who really like Kobe Bryant know how to talk the game of basketball.
Let's discuss. I ain't discussing shit with no goddamn kid. Motherfucker, let me tell you something. Who give a fuck? Sit your ass down.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we gonna let Brandon catch up because he actually was waiting patiently, and now we know officially we're about to have somebody go in the dugout for show. Let's go, Brandon Katz. What's happening, bro? What you got for us today?
Yeah, I got to cook this take that Curry was better than Duncan. First of all, there's no advanced metric that has Curry over Duncan. Duncan's VORP is almost 30% better than Curry's. Duncan's defensive rating is almost 20% better than Curry's. But what people forget is Duncan was past his prime after the age of 30. He had fascial bursitis. He had significant foot injuries. So Tim Duncan played almost 8 years when he was on the downside of his career, and he still has a far better VORP and far better defensive rating than Curry. And Duncan had elite efficiency for his era. He was a better defender, rebounder, and he was a comparable scorer in the 2000s compared to what Curry is now. Curry's a slightly better offensive player, but Tim Duncan in his prime was elite. But the point that this guy and people are missing when you rank Curry ahead of Duncan is that Steph Curry, because he's such a liability defensively, you have to surround him with players like Draymond Green. You have to surround him with elite defenders. Curry also needs elite spacing to be an elite offensive player. Curry was not close to an all-time great player until Steve Kerr came in 2015 and he put his system in. So Steph Curry needs elite spacing. That requires teams to play small. That hurts them defensively and it hurts them on the boards. Part of the reason Golden State is struggling in the West, which is huge right now, is the Warriors have to play small to give Curry elite spacing. That lets them get cooked by players like Anthony Davis in 2023 and Jokic in 2022. So Duncan can play in any lineup. He's giving you elite offense and elite defense. Curry needs elite spacing, and he needs multiple elite defenders around him too. The Spurs won nothing before Duncan, and they won nothing after him. They had good teams, but the Spurs were not a championship team without Tim Duncan. And really, if you look at the Spurs in the 90s, even with David Robinson, that team got to one conference finals, and they got obliterated by Houston in 94.
Johnny, can I respond to that real fast?
Yeah, you can respond to that. Shout out to you. I can't believe Brandon Katz came up here and actually gave us an actual great take. Oh my God, I am shocked. This is great. Oh my God. See what happens when GOAT James Kingdom? When you come along and you start talking the game of basketball, you sound smart. Go ahead, Travis.
People forget how good Duncan was before the age of 30 when he started having feet injuries.
Okay, you said that already, Brandon. We appreciate
you're
you.
spot
Thank
on,
you.
Johnny. Like it's like we've reached out to like a bigger audience now, and that was actually a fantastic take by Brandon Katz because Tim Duncan, ever since he joined the Spurs, they had like obviously like one of the better defensive increases of all time from like last to like absolute first, and they continued that trend up until he retired. He was one of the best defenders of all time, and that actually counts more than someone who was transcendent offensively. Tim Duncan was no slouch offensively. He would give you 23 to 25 points per game on great efficiency, but he wasn't the guy who was like required because of like the composition of the Spurs team. He wasn't like needed to take like 23, 24, 25 shots per game in order to win you a championship. He was a great team player. He was arguably a top 5 defender at all times at his position and all time during his title runs, and he was one of the most. The point is, he was one of the most impactful players of all time. Regardless, that's why he's top 5 in my book, and that's why he's better than someone like Steph Curry, who was really only great on one end of the floor. I think Steph Curry is number 10 all time, but it was because he changed the game offensively. But there's no way you're going to actually put him above a player who was a two-way player, a top 5 two-way player of all time, like Hakeem Olajuwon, like Duncan, like Michael Jordan, like LeBron. You just can't do it, and that's why Tim Duncan is better than Steph Curry.
Shout out to Ronald Kelly. He said, "Good take, Brandon. We still don't like you."
No, Brandon.
So yeah, listen, we're gonna get our final takes. We're gonna get up out of here. You guys have all been great. Drew, I'm sorry, Drew. I'm not gonna let you respond because you're not gonna tell us what your eyes saw, and we don't know what your eyes saw.
I got a question for Brandon Katz.
No, we gotta go, Blue Boat. We gotta go, Blue Boat. We gotta go. You
damn,
Blue
no
Boat.
5-hour stream again?
Hell no, I'm not the crossover. Hell no.
Actually, no, sir. I show 2.5 hours, sir. So it's more structure. Don't disrespect.
Welcome him episode.
So we're gonna go down the line. John, I'm gonna let you go last, King John. So we'll start with you, Travis. Any last take, sir? What you got for us? What's your last take, please?
Hey, just as usual, we're calling all the people who are too afraid to actually come into the actual live chat to give their last takes, and that's one and only. That is actually Kobe 824, who is too afraid to hit the link, get exposed in real time. It's very easy to sit there, do some research, and actually type out your responses when no one else has an opportunity when they're live. But it's another reason, or it's another matter all entirely to actually come up here and put your actually stored knowledge and off the cuff debate skills again one-on-one with whoever you're talking about on the panel, because you're the only reason you don't come up is because you know you're going to get exposed and ridiculed in real time, and your fragile ego can't handle that. You are a casual. Come up here and prove us wrong. Otherwise, you're just joker.
Yeah, that's right, y'all. Y'all know what's up with Travis, man. Again, Travis will be having a special a segment every week where he'll be doing a chat bomb with Travis. So be careful what you say in the actual chat, because he will drop a bomb on you if you ain't giving up a good take. And also, if you have any questions for him during the show, you can also just direct it to Travis, and he might respond to you during his chat bomb. So shout out to you. Let's let Craig King up here. Craig, what's your last take, brother?
Well, my last take is what I was saying for the longest. I mean, yes, we all can agree the players today are more skilled than the players of 2010s, 20,000, 90, hundreds, whatever you want to call it. But it's still, this rules still come into play of what skills you will put more emphasis on. But the last part of my thing is the promos. Did you see how good of a show this is? You come here, you want to escape reality and be with other people besides myself who think LeBron's the GOAT. You can come here and have a nice conversation. Then you can go out to the real world when it's Jordan the GOAT.
Also, listen, and also don't sleep. Craig has his own segment. It's the checks and balances with Craig King. If you have a poor take, Craig will make sure to let everybody know how poor of your take it really is. So shout out to Craig.
He looks elite right there.
He is an assassin. He is coming after everybody. He got a.
I don't want Nike to sue me though. So
and unlike Drew, his eye test worked because we know Craig got good glasses. So let's go ahead and let's let Twin Man get his last take in. Go ahead, Twin Man.
So what I'm tired of is people coming up on Go James Kingdom with their Hennessy eyes, telling us what their eye test talking about. I need people to stop drinking and watching basketball, because if your eye test tells you Kobe Bryant's number 2 or Steph Curry's the GOAT or Steph Curry's in the top 5 anywhere, you really have been drinking Hennessy, rum, vodka, Everclear, Grey Goose, moonshine. You mixed all that shit up and you chugged it. That's number 1. Number 2, we need to understand what Ant-Man was talking about. Instead of just attacking what the man said, we need to understand the fact that he's been indoctrinated his entire life to believe Michael Jordan's the GOAT. That's why he said what he said. I'm not going to attack this young man. I feel bad for this young man. He's been indoctrinated. The propaganda got to him. That's why he said that. But if we're going to be honest, he was talking about the 2-guard spot. Was he lying about the 2-guard spot in the 80s and the 90s? Comparing them to Michael Jordan? No, he wasn't. So again, but let's not attack Ant-Man. Let's understand what he was talking about. But lastly, this is the best place to talk basketball here and on FYF Sports. Go James Kingdom, we be holding this down all the time. I need people to understand that Kobe Bryant is not a top 10 player. I said what I said, and I'm standing on what I said. I've got him 13th. If you don't like him, kiss my grits.
Thanks.
And as Twin Man just said, if you look at the top scoring shooting guards in each era from the 2020s on to the 90s and the 80s, we can clearly see who's really the more skilled of the
Jordan
group.
is more skilled than the 2020 players. What the fuck?
That he's the only one, as Anthony Edwards eloquently exposed. Ishmael, your turn, brother.
Yeah, two things. I want to say that the first thing is I think it's kind of disingenuous when people, they were praising Anthony Edwards for putting Michael Jordan in the top 5 as the GOAT, and the next thing you know, when he clearly probably hasn't really watched the game back then, he's saying that they weren't as skilled as Michael Jordan and stuff, and people, just getting hurt about the fact that, he's saying, he's saying the players weren't skilled. So I just think that if he didn't watch the game, then you shouldn't take his take. You should take his take on like who's his greatest players with a grain of salt. I think that it should be both ways. If you're going to say that, if we can say Michael Jordan, if we can't say Michael Jordan's a GOAT because we didn't watch the games, then we shouldn't say Michael Jordan's the GOAT even though we didn't watch the game. So I just want to say I think that's disingenuous from people. My second thing is, my last thing I'm going to say is that the game is changed due to the culture. Yes, some things are added with the rules, and modern advancements have some place into the enhancement of the game, but to me, it's on a small scale. The main reason is because of the culture, is because children been practicing 3 times a day since they were grown. They only play basketball all day, every day. Well, you can believe what you want, Travis. I'm sorry, not Travis. I'm sorry, it's not Travis.
Brandon Katz. That was Wall Street Brandon.
Katz. Well, if you ever been around hoopers, bro, like I have, all right, that's and been in the AAU and the college basketball and all that other stuff, you wouldn't know what
Kids
I'm
play
talking
fucking
about.
video games all day. Give me a fucking break,
bro. Let him speak, man.
Everybody, just let the man get his take in. Shut up, Brandon. Don't worry, Brandon. I got something for your punk ass when you show up to your last second.
Ishmael, thanks for mistaking.
Hurry up, Ishmael. Land the plane here so we can get sturdy
So what I'm
please.
saying is, like, basically, the culture has changed in terms of basketball. There's a blueprint out there. It's difficult as it is enough to even play Division II basketball. Okay, so that's why guys are more skilled. That's why guys are more injured, because they've dealt with more hardship. You played basketball more. All right. So that's the thing. I'm saying the culture and the mentality is much different than it was.
Ishmael, I'm
in
starting
the 80s
for the
and
Bobcats next year. Like, what are you talking about? Difficult.
Hey, Brandon, you have an admirer in Willie Sermons, y'all. All right, so you done there, Ishmael?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm good.
All right, yeah, man. Shout out to Ishmael, man. Thank you for supporting us. He is a GOAT James Kingdom member. Let's let Sturdy in. Go ahead, Sturdy. Plug in your program and also give us your last take, brother, please.
Yeah, y'all see the logo. Y'all know what it is. You can catch me on the crossover every Wednesday around 5:36, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Every Wednesdays we cover basketball, both WNBA and basketball in general. Remember these 3 phrases, people. John Stockton is not a top 5 point guard. Jerry West is a point guard. Do not listen to these old people. I don't know where it started. The man played 10 years as a point guard. He was a point guard. I don't know where the shooting guard thing narrative started. Then Tim Duncan is the top 5 player, because we keep forgetting how great Tim Duncan was, especially for his time. Do your own research, come to your own conclusion, and respect all eras, bro. Because greatness isn't predicated by the situation the person in. Greatness is determined by what that player does in that situation. All right. And not saying too, I realize this, Johnny. When KG said players can't play 20 years ago, he's referring to the 2000s. Why did you bring up a graphic for what the 2000 shooting guards did? I just realized that.
Oh, because I honestly believe that Anthony Edwards was not talking about the 2000s. He was talking about Jordan's era. So we all know the 2000s had a bunch of skilled guards and a bunch of skilled players. We're talking about Jordan's era. That was the main thought. So
Did anyone score 18,000 points in 585 games? Did they do that in the 2020s?
Yeah, fuck you.
What about the 80s? Okay, so Jordan's the most talented player of all time then, by this graph.
Agreed.
Hey, Johnny, the only reason I asked that because we need to touch upon
shooting guards, by the shooting guards.
Yeah, we need to touch. We just touched on the ant quote today. We also touched upon the KG quote, where he said how players can't play 20 years ago. So that's why.
I know that, but we know that KG was saying that because he was coming from the 90s, because he's a 90s guy. He came in from the 90s.
Well, he's a 2000s player. Hey, Johnny,
no, I know that. No, I know that. But he played 4 years in the 90s. He came up from, and what he was talking about was predicated off that because he remembers being a kid coming into the NBA and being around a bunch of grown men. Today's NBA is not like that. These kids are coming in and they're not around a bunch of grown men. So that was kind of the difference. But you're right. Let's let
95. He's a 90s player. He played.
Can I say Rudy Hood? I want to debate.
Y'all
Rudy
don't say
Hood.
Jordan. Y'all would say Jordan lost 3 times. The first
all right. Well, if you
he got swept and all that, but because he was drafted in 90, he's a 2000.
Jordan had no fucking roster when he got swept, and he played all-time great team.
John,
here we go. Don't get Brandon started, y'all. I'm trying to keep Brandon out of the dugout, y'all. Don't get Brandon started, please. Let Ruddy Hood Sports. Travis would like to debate you. Don't say that, Brandon. You know what happens when you say that stupid shit. Go ahead, Ruddy Hood Sports. Get your last take in, please.
Oh yeah, Herm said he would destroy me in the debate too, but y'all not gonna
Herm
win.
Says that about everybody.
Rudy, you be light work.
Herm says that about everybody. But go ahead, brother. Go ahead. We'll set it up. Friday night exposure with the exposure. We'll make it happen. Go ahead, brother.
We'll see. But listen, right? This is all I want to say. I don't wholeheartedly agree with Ant-Man's take, right? But I do respect it. And the reason why is, once again, we could say that maybe the BlackBerry, right? I'll just say that, for example, was one of the greatest phones of the early 2000s. It was a great phone for the time. And we could say that Ant-Man is used to an iPhone 13. I would be a damn fool to criticize this man for having an iPhone 13 and all its advancements and technological advancements, then looking at the BlackBerry and saying, oh, this BlackBerry phone is mid. I would be a fool to criticize him over that. And this is what I'm talking about. It seems like there's a lack of respect of the game today from these old heads. If these old heads want the newer players of today to respect them, they need to return that same respect. But that's all I have to say.
Facts. I agree with you there. I agree with you there. No argument. You get your chance on a Friday night. Let's let Blue Boat get his last take in, please. Go ahead, Blue Boat. Are you there? Blue Boat?
I'm on mute. You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead, brother. Get your last take. Yeah, we got you. Go ahead. Get your last take in. Go ahead.
This whole era thing, end of the day, man, you know what I mean? It's like I said, apples and oranges. You really can't determine which era was better than the next because, like I said, evolution is part of the game, you know what I mean? And then it's like every era has bits and pieces of where certain things are more advanced than others, you know what I mean? Whether it be defense, whether it be pick and roll offense, whether it be certain style of play, you know what I mean? Just look at the Warriors of the past year. Look at the Phoenix Suns in the 2000s. Look at the New York Knicks and how they revolutionized defense. Look at the Bad Boys. Nobody was playing defense like the Bad Boys in the 80s. You know, that's why Jordan had to overcome that, you know what I mean? Because it was very something complex. Everything was up and down in the basketball court. So, yeah, eras, and I understand where Ant-Man was coming from. Anthony Edwards was coming from, but at the same time, it's like I wouldn't be upset, for what he said because he didn't see it. He didn't see it in real time. You know what I mean? The only thing he remembers is Michael Jordan. From like I said, from the shoes to the commercials to the actual games that people within he came up with showed him. You know what I mean? And as far as the eye test goes, you got a lot of casuals that get involved with this, man. And they should be talking on basketball, man. To me. These casuals are the worst thing that ever happened to basketball talk, man. You know what I mean? Because now everybody thinks they know the game now. You know what I mean? Everybody thinks they can say whatever and apply this narrative to this player, apply this narrative to that player, and it stick. So it's like these cows, you gotta get these cows up out of here, man. Straight up.
Nah, I hate.
Y'all
Get out of
criticize
here.
this man for using the eye test just to have an old episode about using the eye test to see whether these guys were good based on video.
Yeah.
Because
That's a good point.
Wait. We use stats as well. I gave you the stats. That's why we were looking them up. Because without these stats, I wasn't gonna go look up nobody's
you couldn't
information.
tell Mitch Richmond was good.
Brandon
You couldn't
Katz
tell
better
Zip
throw
on
me
I
his
just want no because a lot of people never saw Mitch Richmond play. A lot of people never saw Mitch Richmond play. So I had to show y'all. Y'all have to see it.
Brandon Katz better throw me a shout out. I'm just saying.
Who?
Brandon Katz better throw me a shout out because I had his back for one show.
Oh my God, man! Let's let Brandon Katz does what he wants to do, right? Brandon Katz, I do what I want to do. Go ahead, Brandon Katz. Let's let you get your last take in. Go ahead, man.
All right, I want to make 3 points. So first of all, Anthony Edwards, his takes are trash. He literally has Kevin Durant as the GOAT. I mean, listening to people just because they played the game at a high level, some people know the game, some people don't. Just because a player played does not mean they know the game. It doesn't. And when you think Kevin Durant's the GOAT, you don't know basketball, and Edwards thinks Durant's the GOAT. Number one. Number two, Curry accelerated the move to three-point shooting, but his move is overstated because the NBA was all about analytics in the 2010s and now, and analytics are all about efficiency. Efficiency was always going to move the game to three-point shooting. The most efficient shot in basketball is the wide-open corner three. So the two teams that used analytics the most in the 2010s were Golden State and San Antonio. That Spurs in 2013, 2014, no superstar star elite offenses. Why? In significant part because of the three-point shooting. So the game was always moving towards, with analytics, efficiency and three-point shooting. Curry accelerated that move, but he did not revolutionize the game. He accelerated the move to three-point shooting that was coming anyways. But the final point I want to make is this clown take that the players are so much more skilled in this era than they were in the 80s or 90s. It's a dumb take. The shooting is better in this league, okay? The shooting's better. The post game is not better. The passing is not better. There's not a better guard in this era who's a better passer than Magic Johnson is. There's not a better center in this era who has better footwork than Hakeem did. The main issue in the 90s was not lack of skill. The issue in the 90s was lack of spacing and lack of tempo. So if you put the best players, and this is why Jordan averaged 37 in the 80s, he didn't in the 90s when it was a slower tempo game. If Jordan had played most of his career in the 80s or an up-tempo era, he would have easily averaged 36 to 40 points a game with the lead efficiency. The only reason his points per game dropped in the 90s was spacing and tempo. But the big difference between this era and the 90s was spacing and tempo. It's not skill. The skills are different. The shooting is far better in this era than the 90s, but the fundamentals, because players played 3 years in college, and despite Ishmael's dumb take, the players were not load managing in the 80s and 90s. So even if you think they practiced more in this era, which is a lie, they played a fuck lot more in the 90s. Jordan's last year with the Bulls, he's 34. He played almost 82 games. The players played far more in the 80s or 90s. They didn't load manage. They were just as skilled as this era. They just didn't have anywhere near the shooting or spacing.
Comprehension skills, Brandon.
Oh my God!
Give me a short, Ismail.
Oh my God, King John.
That was horrible comprehension skills, bro. I never say nothing about
just a
King John.
Just a fun fact. LeBron at the age of 33, 34 in the 2018 season played 82 games. But go ahead, King John, do that.
Right, and he's done that once in the last 7 years.
Hey, Brandon, let King John, who's a GOAT James Kingdom member, give his take, bro.
Yeah, he got caught lying there.
Let's let King John get his take
Jordan
in.
was 35 in 98.
Jordan retired at age 35.
So who lied?
Why y'all letting Brandon fuck shit up?
At age 34, he retired at age 35.
Travis messaged you up.
Be quiet, Brandon. Let's let King John finish so we can all go on with our Sunday afternoon.
I'm out anyway.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Bye. Get the fuck up out of here. Go. Get out of here. Go. Go ahead, King John. Go ahead.
I'm going to start with the KG take. One thing I don't like about the old players is that they're allowed to disrespect the players of today, but when the players of today respond, it's an outrage. And that's the only thing I didn't like. Like I said earlier, I feel like KG should have went the went to him and talked to him and explained to him more about the game. And he should have already had done that already. They both played in Minnesota. And my second take, once again, I'm giving out flowers every week. I already know who I'm gonna talk about next week. I am gonna reach out to him again because I would like for that person to come on and talk about their own page. And but every week again, I'm giving out flowers because I don't like hate. I like giving out flowers, so that's what I'm gonna do once a week. Give out flowers to a LeBron James fan page. I'm gonna do that every week.
No, it's all about hate, John.
That's factual. Shout out to John for that. That's a great segment by you. Great idea. That is a great. Hey, you could always help him out. Herm, you too late. You was at church getting blessed because you've been suspending us in FYF, and we can't have you coming up here causing another suspension on my account on that. You're not gonna have Lamont calling me about what you be talking about on the show. But you can come and join us.
Just say that Blue Bolt was God and he actually showed up on our show today.
They already listen. Every time Blue Bolt starts to speak, somebody goes in the comments. Oh my God, who is that? That's the Lord, y'all. That is the Lord.
The
Lord and Goat James Kingdom, ladies and
Told
gentlemen.
him he needs to send us off with a prayer after every episode.
Please.
Hey, Johnny.
That is a fact. Lord's prayer.
Hey, Johnny. Hey, Johnny. When can I get a segment, bro?
What, man?
Get a segment. Oh my God, you just became
Johnny,
a member.
you let
He over here
Twin Man get a
asking for
segment.
some. Oh my God, hey, Twin Man get a segment. He just became a member. He didn't even earn a T-shirt and a hat yet. He trying to get a damn segment.
Wait, hold on. You telling me I was a member longer than Twin Man?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yes, you was a Twin Man before. I mean, you was a member before Twin Man. Yes.
I wish I could respond to that Brandon's like that Brandon.
No, listen, leave Brandon alone. Listen, Brandon's idea of Michael Jordan's 37 points per game, he quickly doesn't acknowledge that Jordan shot 28 shots per game to do that. Had nothing to do with the era because the next season he didn't take that many shots because it's just hard to take that many shots night in, night out, and play that way. We all know Jordan.
He was going to focus on He said, I'm going to focus on defense this season. Instead of averaging 37, I'm going to average 35.
And I'm going to make a phone call.
Offense, I'm going to put on defense.
Yes. And I'm going to make a phone call to the statistician and make sure that he got all the gifts that I said to his house.
I said the points. They didn't lie about 35.8.
That's right. We've been exposing.
Don't worry. Listen, get in line, Herm. As you can see, plenty of people want to line up and debate the Ajani the Exposer. Now, if you truly want to debate me, like I tell you guys all the time, that is what Friday Night Exposure is for. You come up on a Friday Night Exposure, and you'll be able to have a great conversation with me. We are collaborating with FYF as well. So there's no need to be afraid of that. You can come up and we can have a great conversation. Ain't nobody scared of none of y'all fools. Y'all know what I do best, man. No, listen, you're done, Travis. We're over 3 hours in. We're about to get up out of here. It's my last take. It's time for me to get my last word.
My bad, John. Just a quick question. No, it involved exposed era because people had asked me this. When they come up to Fridays on Friday Night Exposure, right? And they debate you on topics that you're not doing that show. Or it has to be topics for that show.
They can, as long as they stick to the topic. Because like Peter did the other day, Peter wanted to have a conversation with me, but when I start cooking, they want to change the topic. And obviously, you gotta let me speak. You know what happens if you don't let me speak. Everybody knows what happens if you don't let Ajani speak. You end up taking
my man. People have been asking me that. People saying they want to debate you, but they don't want to like. They was kind of confused whether or not they could debate you for Friday Night Exposure when you're doing a different topic.
They want to debate if Michael Jordan's the GOAT or LeBron. They can do that on a Friday Night Exposure. That's what it's for. I'm available for Friday night. That's why I opened up Friday nights for us, so people can have the one-on-ones, because you can't have it here with me. As you can see, we have a whole panel of guys. We have a great show. We have a topic. We have a program as well. We just extended a little bit for the courtesy of Lamont and what they do in FYF. But we Friday nights, you want me, I'm available. Pause. You can just come up. I'll put the link up. Whatever we're talking about, you can have that conversation. Or if you wanted to have a discussion with me, we can have it. That's why I do the one-on-ones. So there's nobody that's going to stop you from talking. Ain't nobody going to cut you off. You're going to have your chance to get your take. Drew said he's going to show up on a Friday night. Hope to see you on a Friday night. But again, ladies and gentlemen, this is... It doesn't matter. This is the GOAT James Kingdom channel, and this is the GOAT James Kingdom show with B. Lee and Ajani. We go live every Sunday noon to talk the GOAT conversation in basketball. Basketball starting very soon, so we're going to have a great conversation about basketball for the rest of the year. But we go live every Sunday noon, and this is what we do best. We have a whole panel of guys. We have a great segment with our panelists. We have the MJ delegates. We have King John, who's a LeBron fan. We do it big. If you're also subscribed to our channel, you might as well check out our membership. We have different perks. We have some of the members right here. They'll tell you what we do for our members. We'll look out for you. We'll take care of you. You can reach out to us if you are a member. Remember, it's goatjameskingdom@gmail or goatjameskingdomshow@gmail.com. And you guys can reach us and get in contact with us if you are a member of the channel. Check out the different perks because we do have different levels. The better the level, the more perks that get involved. But you just get the normal level, and that's just supporting what we do, and you'll be able to have exclusive content, exclusive material. You'll have member chats, show shout-outs, all of that available to you. But obviously, if you want me, Ajani, the Exposer, one-on-one, that's on a Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on FYF and the GOAT James Kingdom channel. This is what I like to do. I love to debate. We can debate all day long. Ain't nobody gonna put no fear in my heart. Because I'm ready for y'all. I got all the smoke for everybody who want to have the smoke. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the GOAT James Kingdom channel. I am Ajani the Exposer. I'm going to get up out of here. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful Sunday. I want to thank the panel. Thank you, John. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Travis. Thank you, Twin Man, Ishmael, Sturdy, for being GOAT James Kingdom members. Thanks for all of the gentlemen that showed up and gave their great takes. Blue Bolt, Rudd Hoodie Sports. We even had Brandon Katz give us a great take today, which was astonishing. I didn't expect that. But it was a great conversation. We all had a great time. You gentlemen, enjoy your Sunday afternoon. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we are GOAT James Kingdom. I'm Ajani the Exposer. Shout out to Brandon. He'll be back next week on another great show. Ladies and gentlemen, peace and blessings.
If you're a basketball fan and you're tired of basketball shows that talk about fake narratives and using non-basketball terms like killer instinct, playoff translation, gravity, come to GOAT James Kingdom.